very bad policies. Our education system's dead. The guys coming out of secondary school, they have no idea how to function in the real world. And even in tertiary level, going to college and stuff, they don't have the thinking ability to deal with college. So things weren't done intelligently, and the people that came into power, they were the freedom fighters. They were the ones. I mean, I was fully supportive of these people, but immediately the change happened. Started filling their pockets.
Yeah, especially with the
They didn't know how to make policy, how to change things.
implement.
They just, we will do this and we will do that. They didn't consult with people that had knowledge of how to manage these things.
Right.
And they applied policies that are not relevant to our context. And they destroyed so many things. Privatized so many things.
What is the name? Zuma, no? Is the president now?
Zuma.
Zuma.
This guy can barely count. He's
But I mean, anytime you wanna,
Do you think
he's
he's
a
smart?
tribal leader.
You think he's smart?
anytime you wanna,
He's smart at filling his pockets.
Yeah, that's what I think.
anytime you wanna take something from one group and give it to another, there's gonna be a problem, even if that group was oppressive in the past.
Of course.
So that was the whole, and usually that's how people feel, you know, like I want to take my right back from this group or these people. But the way societies are put together today,
Because of this, I think South Africa will have a revolution at some point, a violent one. Because we haven't had it.
you mean
They
like
prevented this from happening.
ethnic,
Yes. Because
issue,
the
civil
masses
war.
of the people are at boiling point. They're not surviving. They're humiliated. They're frustrated. They're ready to... And there's been signs of this.
But there are any organization, I mean, like a powerful organization that can
Mobilize them?
mobilize
Yes.
them
There's a group
against the
that's-
government.
Yes, there's groups that have split from the leading party, especially the youth wing.
So there's like dissidents.
Yes, the ruling party had a youth wing. And the leader of this youth wing, they used
To get
counter their opposition, but he became a bit too radical for them and he started criticizing them. And they kicked him out. And now he's got his own party, and they are a revolutionary party. They want to wipe the slate clean and start from scratch,
but how?
The white
How would you do that?
violently.
No, but when you say white,
What they say is the white are they responsible for
What
the
they
white
do, what they do now, they have an official party, they have a strong following now. When the parliament session opens, they stand up and they protest immediately. They get kicked out of parliament as a group all the time. There's like fights that happen in the parliament.
So but they get their votes from the leading party, no?
They get their votes from the people
And they
that
separate
are
it.
upset with the leading party that are now looking for
So
physical change.
so the representatives, some of the representatives of the leading party, they are now
They've
opposition.
moved, yes. And also the
but, I
leading
mean, what
party
do
has
people
lost
want? More free stuff, or what's the problem?
Yeah. That's one of the biggest problems with our people on many levels.
Yeah.
They don't want to do anything. Actually, when we did some dawah in some of these townships, they call it townships. They're like informal living areas, very, very low economic areas. The housing is not even bricks, made of wood and tin and stuff. The men are sitting around drinking beers. The women are going and begging or working all day. The kids that are already big adults come home and take from the parents and don't work, don't contribute. So there's this...
So in many cases the women are the
psyche-
ones.
Yes, the psyche of the people is like they've...
Broken.
Yeah. Which is what the past did to them.
Yeah, you
Some
know,
people-
this is one of the problems that people don't talk about in a situation like South Africa or some parts of America. Like, and you see this in America, actually. People have many opportunities.
Yes.
Right? You can do whatever you want. But in their mind,
They don't feel like they...
But you can see this is in the white people in some sectors, why they are supporting Trump now.
Yeah.
Because they think this is the one that is defending them. Because they're losing the, like...
their status, basically.
Yeah, the status. They were middle class and now most of the jobs were disappearing,
Overseas.
no? And all getting lower salaries.
Yeah.
So there's a guy who, I mean, says that he fights and guilty, or like say, okay, we are not, we will force the companies to come back and blah, blah, blah.
He's just talking. You can't. How you enforce?
But people like to hear it.
Yeah. And even the president, the president doesn't make jobs. How can you make jobs?
I mean, he's a businessman. He's a businessman, no? So,
but even, that's not, he
maybe
can't
some
make
people think, okay, if he's doing well in his business, he has like an empire, no? For real estate. So if he's doing well in his business, he will be able to
somehow
manage. Yeah, with the big wall in Mexico and such things.
Dawah in the lower economic areas in South Africa, people will accept Islam, but they may try to practice a little bit and then completely just disappear because they're stuck in a victim mentality.
What is the religion, the most practice?
We're traditional religion, African religion, which is like ancestor worship, where they go and speak to the ancestors.
What's the percentage?
Ancestors. Do you have idols or?
Very, very big. Some do have idols, but it's like going to the grave and or having dreams of the ancestors. They come to you and they tell you to do things. And also we have this mixed with Christianity. So like a local type of Christianity with weird superstitions and stuff.
In Caribbean you can find this Santeria, which is, I don't know if they are worshipping but they are doing like some kinds of magic and this.
So I have lots of very strange kinds of beliefs that.
And this is the majority, or Christianity is the majority?
A group, like a religious group, like a African Zion, Church of Zion kind of thing. Where they do things alien to Christianity, but it's mixed with like traditional beliefs. Then one of the deputies will fall out with the leader and split off and start his own cult with a few extra beliefs and practices. Take some people with it, and these people make lots of money because the people come and give them.
They are like preachers and they have like their own religion. Let's say. This used to be a good business. Huh?
One lady was telling us.
And the churches for like evangelists, no? There are so many different types. Different types.
One lady was telling us she worked with my in-laws. She came and helped him in the house, and like a domestic kind of helper. She was saying that she embraced Islam. She was telling me the one church they went to, they would have this session where they get the devil out of you by hitting you. So kind of.
You grew younger.
But so you would go up to the front of the church, and then big guys would come and hold you, and the preacher would like hit you, smack you with his hands.
This is the right. This is the right.
So she went to the front. They like rile people up that the devil's in you and you need to get it. And then she went to the front, and she had some guy take her shoulders and put his knee into her back like that.
To exercise her?
To get the devil out.
Of her.
And if some of the people would try to escape, they would say the devil is trying to get away. They chased him down and like beat him.
Really?
Yeah. So
you got to get that devil, huh?
Yeah. And a person could be killed. In the process, see, the devil was killed. He was too strong. He had
Yeah.
He was right in there.
Yeah.
So better that.
You know what the amazing is? You have lived in Saudi Arabia, no? You are living now in Saudi. They really are. Somehow they believe, in sorcery, in black magic and all these things, and it's really, they really fear it. Like in Saudi Arabia, probably not other Arab countries.
It exists.
It's real.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but maybe it's they put it in.
I know a friend,
I think they exaggerate a little bit.
A very good friend of mine, very religious guy, very strict, like active, good belief system.
Yeah.
got afflicted by something,
Black magic or something.
and he was unable to even walk to the masjid. His whole body would like, and when he tried to pray, he would start hearing noise and stuff. And for months, he was trying to get rid of it. He went to ulama that specialize in this, and they gave him different things he should do, things he should recite. But it took him a long time.
Ulema or someone.
One of the specialists told him
words,
somebody afflicted you with something purposely.
Yeah.
And short of going and finding out who this was and undoing what they did, these ruqyas and stuff would be very difficult to continually.
You know, the point is sometimes they look for some person who also is able to do it. Assalamu alaikum. Salam. Yeah, I think so.
Where you been? Islam has built-in protection.
Yeah.
لا بأس عليك. No, I mean, I said usually if you don't get it
people
now,
who is able to do
you
it,
get it after.
to respond to
sickness.
neutralize the effect. So I don't know if this is right.
No, getting it now makes the Hajj more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on the level. It's just a light call.
Good, alhamdulillah.
You know, I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, we're live, man.
Does one's view of your country depend on?
Although the camera, I don't know. The camera could be on us, could
socioeconomic
be on those guys.
background and ethnicity.
Depends on many factors.
So
You get very
Allah
positive
there, I think.
How are you, man?
things.
Good, alhamdulillah.
I thought you were living in Sudan. Is that you or somebody else?
No, it was me. Yeah.
How long were you there for?
I still have a base there. I go back and forth, you know.
Your wife's from Sudan?
Yeah, I have.
And it is a mix.
And how many years were you there?
On and off since 1994.
MashaAllah. When did you graduate? 1994?
No, I graduated in. You think I'm that old, bro?
You never know, man.
Graduated in 2007.
2007, around like Sheikh Nabil Aziz's time?
I think he was a bit after me. Yeah.
2007.
I was 2006, 2007. So.
Who graduated from Canada that year? Do you remember who graduated?
Naveed, he's the only one I know. Right, he was like, I think it was a year after me or 2 years after me.
Yasser Ghadi was...
He was before me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the Masters, he was before me.
Okay, Jimmy.
He actually went back when I was there. And finished the Masters and went back when I was there.
Okay. It's good. And which city are you from again, from America?
From the Washington metropolitan area.
Washington, you said?
Washington metropolitan area, they call it.
I have no idea what that means.
From Virginia, from Salamatullah. It's Virginia, right next to D.C.
Oh, yeah, I've been to Virginia. I'm Somali. I got half my family's there.
Yes, you have
I'm half my family, literally.
probably a few 100,000 Somalis.
At least. I visited Virginia, Maryland. Alex Salam.
Going?
How are
Did
you?
you sleep well?
Alhamdulillah.
How you doing, mate?
Has it been good?
Yeah, right, alhamdulillah.
How's it been going?
I was going, we go in the nighttime. So,
We did 2 a.m.
yeah, we go. But last night we went about 11 o'clock last night. It was a bit crowded. It wasn't like crowded, but I mean, you know, there was people there, you know. But usually, what the crowd is usually when you go to the beginning, when it first, like everybody goes to the same spot, and that whole big wall there, nobody goes to the other side. So all we would do, we see where the crowd is, and then we go like this. We come over to the other side, and it's empty. You can like slam dunk inside, you know.
Tactical maneuver.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all you have to do. But everybody goes to that same, like the first corner, you know. But you don't really have to be there, you know.
That's what we said this yesterday. It's like they get excited. So
Yeah, everybody. It's like everybody's there. So you see it from a distance, you're like, man, that's kind of crowded, you know.
go to the other end.
Yeah, and then you just go to the side like that, and it's like.
There's nothing.
And the little kids are enjoying it. I saw a few little kids starting, they're just having a ball, checking that, getting the devil.
I remember the last time I came to Hajj, it was people attracted from far and there's 13 people. You see, it's really calm. It's not like that at all.
No, it's very calm this year. They've done an amazing job on the organizing, the services. I think the numbers were lower, but that's good because now it'll even get the people used to doing things properly. And then what I understand is each year they're going to gradually start to add on more people again.
It's like 2 million this year?
What I heard officially from was 1.3 million.
Not including the locals.
Yeah, not including the 1.3 million. So
last year
I mean, that includes the locals, meaning the locals of of Mecca. But from that's why I think 1.3 with the Saudis, the ones who are officially coming
I
on.
received a text message on stats. SMS, it said 1.8 something.
That's what I heard. That's
million.
what I heard. 1.8.
Yeah,
What's
maybe,
the total
maybe,
count? The total
yeah,
count.
maybe
from-
1.3 is from outside then.
Even so, 102 is low compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, 1 to 2 million is definitely low. Yeah, but I mean, you can feel the difference.
You can feel it.
Oh,
You can feel it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
everyone's happy, you notice that?
Yeah.
Even the ones staying on the side of the road, the ones who can't afford it,
everybody's- yeah.
everyone's just smiling. And there's no tension. We were just saying before to the brothers, I haven't heard a baby scream and cry.
It's true. It's
You
amazing.
know,
yeah.
it's amazing. Just the barakah and
Yeah,
and
no, so
serenity,
it's pretty much
tranquility.
better. So I mean, to be honest with you, even if you have to, get in line and wait for a few years now, it's worth it. When you
Yeah.
come and you have a proper Hajj, because it's just too many. It becomes, and the tensions get up.
Yeah. But mashallah, alhamdulillah. And it's nearly over. It's nearly over.
Alhamdulillah.
So quick.
Oh man, getting here was a battle to the studio. Man. I actually had to walk like half the way. The car just stopped and all the roads were closed. So the guy who was driving me said, "Look, he said, I'll drive you around. It's up to you." But he said, "This is the road. It's closed." And I got out and walked. I realized walking for 15 minutes was better than sitting in the car for an hour.
Exactly right.
Same thing.
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
You got to make those sacrifices. That's part of Hajj, isn't it?
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
SubhanAllah, mashallah.
So I actually have, I come here for a live program in the day and I have another live program at 2:30 a.m.
Alhamdulillah,
So
mashallah.
we're not getting much sleep either, so I don't think you guys are
Insomnia.
sleeping.
That's another characteristic of Hajj. Insomnia.
Oh man, it's
You learn to master it.
and the people in the tent where they're laughing because they send me the motorcycle.
Ah.
And the first day was on the day of Taraweeh, I have to get on. I have my ihram on, so I'm ihram, get on the motorcycle in the back. I don't even think I've ever rode on the back of a motorcycle in my life. Here we're going through Mina.
You get through motorcycles.
They're the best. They're the best.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's very good.
That's the only way to get
Oh
through.
yeah, it's very good.
Or the scooter. I saw one guy, he had a scooter, one of those powered scooters.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
I saw a bike, 2 people on bikes.
Yeah, there you go. Some
Yeah.
smart people.
That could be good. too.
Innovative.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. So you came from with the Hajj group from Ireland?
No. I'm actually here with the Ministry of Islamic Affairs.
Oh, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah.
Sheikh Salah al-Sheikh.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I saw him last night. He was giving a talk after Isha, I believe, in Mina.
Okay,
We
mashallah.
heard his voice at least.
Yes.
Inshallah. Compare this Hajj to last Hajj you came. How long ago was it? Like 10 years ago?
Oh, it was like 12 years ago. The funny thing was, I was with one of the scholars from Kuwait the other night. The first time I went to the Jamarat. I was telling the brother yesterday, you guys were here. And it's the first time I've seen the big Jamarat. The other was like the small one, like this big, And
The pillar before.
yeah, the small pillar, yeah. And so I haven't seen the big one. So he looked at it, he said, "You never seen this one?" And he said, "Shaitan has got much bigger, huh?"
And he has. Otherwise, hasn't he? SubhanAllah.
We had a good laugh when we were going to the Jamarat.
And just for the viewers who don't know, I mean, originally, what was it? What was this?
Yeah, but this is not confirmed. That's a
Yeah.
shaitan, But this is the misconception that people have. That's why a lot of people come a lot of times and they have,
Anger.
sometimes they come with big stones. Now, alhamdulillah, there's no way. The way they have organized now, and mashallah, the government here, you can see each year they're progressing. Even the issue of the train, I have the thing for the train here. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know there was a train.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
So we're on the train. It's a fantastic, mashallah, very very well organized. So the way you come in now, it's even not possible like for this stampede, because everybody's going in a one-way.
The traffic flow.
Yeah, the traffic flow is very good. On top of that, they see what you bring in with you. So like if you have a bag, you can't go with the bag because it can cause somebody to trip. If somebody comes with like some big stones or some big boulders, they're not gonna let them in.
Yeah, remember the past? Those big boulders?
My first Hajj, I got hit with a rock like this big in my hand.
And shoes and boots.
Yeah, and that's what once they finish the rocks, so they start taking off the shoes. They think the shoes is like the lowest thing, right?
Yeah.
So they throw the shoes. I
remember.
And some of them screaming like, you're the one who caused me to divorce my wife.
Yeah, I heard that
You're
exactly.
You're the one who ruined my life.
Yeah, you shaitan, it's all your fault.
Yeah, exactly. SubhanAllah. Masakin, This is one sheikh, he was giving a talk in the house, and we're staying here in Mina, and the masjid is very good khatib, and he has some lessons at Hajj after the khutbah. So he said that when he was first time he went for Hajj when he was young, he said that a guy comes in, he has like not 7 rocks, like 7 like miniature boulders, like huge, just, and there's like 1, 2, and he's carrying like this, and he's walking like with it like this, And he's like, Hajj, he said, it's not permissible to have something like this. He's trying to explain to him, he's like, get out of my way. And he said, I think he had 7, shuhada, 7 martyrs within that day, because anybody got hit with one of those in the head, he's gone.
Wow.
So the guy didn't care. It was just like his revenge time, So this is my revenge, my 7.
People used to draw blood from those stones. Maybe right down the back of the head many times.
It's the ignorance, and that's once again we talked about that before as well. If you don't study before you come to Hajj, you don't know what you're doing, and you fall. But it's funny. There could be a basic book, and alhamdulillah, it's translated into all the different languages now. There's no excuse for not being able to know how to make Hajj.
And you think about in terms of the Sunnah, something as small, the details as the size of the pebble. You think it might be insignificant, but just the size of the pebble and following the Sunnah, the blessings in that.
Oh yes,
SubhanAllah.
So now nearly we are, for those that who are
To the countries,
what do you say, like what they should do, what they should be care of?
Yeah, this is very important that everybody reflects now in these days as they're going back today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, however long they're staying. How are you going to go back? Are you going to go back, as the Prophet ﷺ described, like a newborn baby, free from sins, and then start with a fresh start, and then return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue? And that's a good sign that your Hajj was accepted, inshallah, if you continue. But if you go back, and all you have from the Hajj is a shaved head, and it's the same actions. Only thing different is your haircut. But your actions are the same. That's not a good sign. You came here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you an opportunity. Many of you come for the first time for Hajj, right? Yes. And imagine that now, the first time you come after all these years, and you go back free from all sins. SubhanAllah. And that's a golden opportunity. And it might not come again. Look how long it took you to get here the first time. Maybe you won't have another chance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us many Hajjs, but we never know, right? You might never ever come back. So what, are you going to go back to the same routine?
Same habits.
The one who was involved in riba and interest, he goes back and he continues. The one who was cheating people, he goes back and continues to cheat. The one who was lying, he goes back and continues to lie.
Wasting his time.
Wasting his time. All of these things. And anything you were talking about major or minor sins, and he continues in it. Or are you going to go back somebody who's been changed? So we were talking about something amazing the other day in the West, dawah-wise, even to non-Muslims. If every Hajj you were to go back a new man, a new person, and they change, they say, what happened to him?
Huge impact.
Yeah. What happened? This is the same guy who used to lie, now he doesn't lie. The guy used to, cut corners, now he's straightforward, Yeah. What happened to him? Why is he changed? They see the nur, the light of the iman, and the light of the Hajj in their face. They're like, what happened? Where'd he go?
So true.
He went to Hajj. Oh, what's Hajj? And then it opens the door for dawah, doesn't it? Also, even the Muslims as well, even dawah for them. You go back to your country and the Muslims, and they see you as a changed person. The impact it's going to have on them. Look at what the Hajj did. And that's from the barakah of Islam, the barakah, the blessings of the Hajj. And it invites all people to practice the deen and to know the deen more.
And Sheikh Abdurrahim, that's one of the signs that your Hajj is accepted too.
Exactly.
That people, we're all striving for Hajj Mabrur. Every single person on Hajj here is striving for that accepted Hajj, and that's one of the signs the scholars say, isn't it?
Yeah, that you continue. Yeah. And it's a very it's a negative thing. It's some people save their money all their lives and save money for 10, 15 years. Some people, and they come and it's just they go back and there's no change. Subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. Give us all Hajj Mabrur and help us continue after Hajj. So this is what the key thing now is that you make that commitment now. And just like you did here, we did what we call al-mujahada. You know what mujahada is?
Striving.
To strive and struggle for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah. And we did it during Hajj because we wanted to make sure the Hajj was mabrur. So we were patient. A lot of things, A few people needed to get knocked out, alhamdulillah, but we were refraining from doing it, alhamdulillah. Can't say, you were like, because you don't want to ruin the Hajj.
Exactly.
Some people said something to you, some people maybe a little bit, I was telling my brother today, I was making tawaf, and this brother, I guess he was in a hurry, he might have done an accident and didn't think about it, but he comes and grabs my shoulder like this and just kind of pushes me out of the way. And I'm a big guy, so he had to push me hard to move me, obviously, mashallah. So he pushed me, and I was just like, I said,
hold on.
I was like, come on. I said, okay, that's not necessary. And I was about to say something to him, akhi, have some manners, akhi, tadab, akhi, it's just tawaf, And it wasn't even that crowded. There was no need for him to do that. And I said, what if he replies to me? And then shaitan gets the best of you, because you have to get the last word, right? Yeah. So then you start to argue this. So I saw one other brother. I was very sad, like I said, everybody's been very calm and very cool. But this brother, for some reason, somebody did the same thing, like pulled his shoulder and pushed him out of the way. This is ignorance once again. I want to get through. That person in front of me is not really important. Right. It's about me, myself, and I. How do I get to that? So he kind of pulls the guy out of the way, and the brother just turned around, just like hammer fist, like boom, you know. And in the Torah, I was like, oh no. I was like, what did you do to your Hajj, man? You know, I was like, I couldn't believe it, you know. I mean, the guy, he probably deserved the hammer fist, but not during Tawaf and Hajj. It was the brother. That's about controlling yourself, you know. This is all about. So this is the mujahidah, that you really strive and struggle, and then the mujahidah continues after the Hajj as well. It's about, this is the reality of life. I mean, when you're trying to get to Jannah, you have to push, you have to struggle. It's going to be difficult, but you have a promise, an amazing promise. When you reflect on the Quran, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And like I always tell the people, this ayah can't be translated properly. You can translate it a bit with the meaning, the general meaning, but when you look at, you know, the Arabic grammar, and Sheikh Abdul Mashah, he's studying now in the College of Sharia, and you go into the Arabic grammar, you know the strength of this ayah. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says that those who strive for us, verily we will guide them to our ways, and indeed Allah is with the doers of good. But if you look at all what we call the ta'keet, which comes in Arabic grammar, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ, this is one, huh? وَإِنَّ, also another one. And then the lam there's like all these different forms of ta'keet, which is to affirm, emphasis,
certainties.
Yeah, to put more emphasis on it, and therefore you know that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will be with you. He will support you. He will help you, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, when you strive for Him. And people always ask, how do we practice our deen? What do we need to do? You have to strive, just like anything in life. And I always give, I like to give the example. I started to get back in the gym lately and stuff like this, so I like to give the analogy of the gym and things like that. Because really, when the people who work hard and get in shape, why are most people not in shape?
They give up.
It's not just being lazy. It takes hard work, bro.
It's a long term.
Yeah, that's it's long. It's a long term.
Discipline.
Some of them talking about 10 years, 15 years. Yeah. They only eat this. They work out every day. It's difficult. People are like, and if it was 1 month, you could be in the gym and you come out with your six pack and and you boom, everybody would have it, right? But it's difficult. So the same thing now when you want to get to the Jannah. Why is it difficult for a lot of people to practice? Because it's the long-term commitment, right? It's the continuing, the striving, the difficulty. Yeah?
Like maybe he can wake up from Fajr one day, you know what I mean? Like you mentioned the gym for 1 month. But to do it consistently.
Yeah, that's it. But then you have the promise here. We reflect on this ayah. Those who strive for us, say, how do we do it? Allah promises we will guide him. And surely we will guide him to our ways. And Allah will be with the doers of good. But what is it? They have to have effort. Once you have the effort, you have the ikhlas for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sincerity, Allah will open up their ways for you. But if you're sitting back and you say, I make dua for me. You see make dua for me, make tawbah. And you're not making any effort, it doesn't work like that. You make the effort and then Allah opens up the ways.
Sacrifices.
You know what's worse, Sheikh? One thing I've noticed these days especially is this myth of people, saying, they say, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. You've heard this before.
Yeah, it's a good
heart.
This happened to me recently. Actually, I was coming back from, I don't know where I was coming from, but I get on the buses to rent a car. I was coming into Dublin, to Ireland. And the bus driver, he was Polish. He was like, you were on vacation? I was like, yeah, whatever, It's not really vacation, I really work. I'm working more. So I said, yeah, so come back from work, I told him, So he started asking me, because I think it was like around the New Year's, and he's talking about drinking, And he said, I haven't had a drink in 4 years. And he said, I left, because it's unhealthy and stuff like that. He said, how about you, do you drink? And I said, no, actually I don't, And I said, for how long, So I'm looking how long I've been a Muslim now. I turned Muslim when I was 18, so I was like, 23 years, I told him I haven't had a drink. He was like, are you serious?
How did you do it?
He said, not one sip,
Discipline.
I told him not one sip. He was like, he said, health. I said, yeah. I said, I found that it's unhealthy, and I said, I like to work out, and it's not healthy. But I said, more than I said, it's religious, because I'm Muslim.
It's an opportunity now to...
Yeah, this is dawah. So he came with the same thing. He said that I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. It's a new one, because what it is, and I'll tell you where this is coming from, is because of, a lot of them, the corruption in the Catholic Church would happen. Even in my home country, in Ireland, where they are the most religious. And in 1990 is when they allowed divorce in Ireland. So you can see how Catholic they are. In 1989,
just a recent,
you couldn't get divorced in Ireland.
It was a big sin.
Yeah, and if you get divorced, so what they do now, because to me in Catholic, it's forbidden for them.
Exactly.
So what did they say? they came with a law. They didn't abolish it 100%. If you get divorced now in Ireland, you can't get remarried for 5 years.
To any woman or that same woman?
You know, any woman.
Wow.
Meaning, maybe you can get married to her. I don't know the rule with that, but I'm telling you, you can't get married to somebody else for 5 years. Why? To
prevent you from
divorcing.
Divorcing.
So this is what they want to prevent it. You know. So you see, so these people were very religious and holding on to their faith and their faith. Now they have doubt because they saw the corruption in the Catholic Church. You know, and anybody who was logic, you know, when it becomes so widespread, you know, molesting children. You know, this is not the religion of Allah. So a lot of them try to turn to atheism. Others try to turn, you know, to looking for a different type of religion and something like this. I remember one time I was coming in from, I was with my family. We're coming from Dubai, and there's actually an Aussie with us coming in. Okay. And the Aussie was, he was, you know, it was actually, no, it was an Irish guy, but he was coming from, he was living in Australia, and he was drinking subhanAllah, and I was counting the Heinekens, you know, just to make, because you know somebody when he gets drunk he might get aggressive, something like that, you know, or say something stupid. So I made sure I was just continuing my work. And you notice on the iPad I'm writing about religion and things like this and Allah and all this. I was preparing some of my lectures, and after he finished his eighth bottle.
He's
like,
drunk, buddy.
No, but I guess he had a high tolerance. When he talked to me, it seemed like it was normal. It seemed like he wasn't even buzzing, this guy, man. You know? I was like, wow. Irish, you know, they that's one thing they do. Huh? So subhanAllah, he started talking about religion. And he said because of the corruption in the Catholic Church that he turned to atheism. But he said, I feel so empty inside now. So I'm looking for something new. I'm looking for a new form. So we started talking about Islam. But then the plane started to land. So I mean, I told him what I could in like the 30 minutes as we were landing. And then I gave him like a dawah card. I always have my wallet, always a dawah card, so you know, so you can go check out a good website, inshallah. But the point is that many people will talk to you just like this. They're looking for something. They need that spiritual side, and they're missing it. But they see the corruption in their own religion. So they say, I'm not religious because of this corruption, but I'm spiritual. Because they know they need that inside. They know atheism is not the way.
Sheikh, something similar I've noticed with some Muslims now is, unfortunately, a lot of the scholars across the world, not even restricted to any country, because they don't study science, right, and they only focus on religion, they have very medieval, very strange, to say the least, opinions in science regarding, you know, whether it be planets or the way the planets move or anything to do with science. And I feel that a lot of Muslims now, when they hear these statements from these scholars, they say, these people are backwards. This guy can't even talk to me about the planet we're on. How am I going to believe him about ilm al-ghayb in the unseen world?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's some of the older scholars on that, but I don't think everybody's like that. So I think, you know, even like the dua we have in the West, they're using science for dawah, you know. So you see they're going into details, and many of the things have been confirmed in the Quran and the Sunnah, you know, now that are just recent scientifically found. So I don't think it's everybody, but it could be, obviously. And I mean, there's a lot of things you have to understand, you know, and that's why we say that, you know, not everything needs to be translated to English sometimes, because some of our some opinions that, you know, certain issues like, you know, family issues and things like that, it might be different, you know, and you have to understand always about knowing the reality of where you are. Yeah. And so, for example, sometimes in the West, you know, sometimes you hear an opinion, you know, it's a scholarly opinion, but there's another opinion as well, and that opinion it's not really, it's not suitable for the reality, because the time, to be able to understand passing, we have to understand the surah al-mas'ala. And a lot of times they don't understand what's really happening there, you know. You know, I mean, a lot of brothers sometimes, you know, they say, you know, there was a picture of me. I was standing next to a brother, and then on the other side we had the mayor, was a woman, and then the priest. It was opening of an Islamic center, you know. They said, oh, this is, you know, be careful, you have to take this down, huh? I said, you don't understand the situation that we're in, you know. I said, we're inviting the mayor of the city that we're in, happened to be a woman, okay? And we're inviting the bishop of and it's something in our area, something very important. If we didn't do that, what is the negative message going to send to the people and where we are? So that, but with people, somebody here be like, oh, haram, how can you, you know, invite them to the masjid? No, it was great dawah, actually. It was a great dawah opportunity for all of us. to build bridges with the community we're in. So a lot of times, things like that, you have to understand that the situation is a bit different. So it's similar things when it comes to the science and these type of issues. Not every an opinion that was a long time ago, old school opinion that you come and you put it. Oh, this said we shouldn't even bring that to the light. Because I think most scholars don't mention that. Because I said even like dawah, we're using science as one of our tools for dawah, aren't we?
You mentioned about how Christians tend to say their religion is incorrect because of the corruption. And a lot of them try to say all religions are the same. Islam is incorrect because Christianity is incorrect.
No, a lot of them they have the opinion that, for example, like I know my father, he's like this, where they believe, as long as you believe in the one true God, it's all good.
Be good to people.
That's it.
Don't hurt anybody.
Yeah, you have the basic belief there. That's it. And if you have that, so they don't believe they have to, accept Islam. And a lot of them will come to you and say, we believe what you're saying is true. We believe, even as Muhammad as a prophet and like this, but they don't testify that. They say, because I'm born Christian. He said that's how I found my forefathers. So a lot of them hold on to it just more as a customary thing. Because I'm from the West, we're Christians, so much even you can debate with some of them, be like, yeah, what you're saying makes more sense, but that's not who I am. I'm not from your part of the world. So just because I wear this, I'm from your part of the world too. I say, actually, I don't wear this back home.
I was going to say, I was like,
hardcore,
stick out in Ireland, right?
I wear the thobe sometimes,
Yeah.
But the shabak, man.
It's a bit too much. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. But even a lot of the Muslims, like when I initially mentioned, I wasn't talking about the Christians or the Catholics. The Muslims, a lot of them I hear saying, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious.
Why? Because what happens now, the Muslims, we have to understand, and this is it's actually rather dangerous. Because a lot of the Muslims, because they're very weak in their iman, and they're very weak in their shakhsiyah, their personality, who they are, and they don't, put themselves in a high status as they should, as being, having the izzah, of being the honor of being a Muslim. So they're lost, and وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. That these people, all mankind is in loss, except for who? Have the four characteristics: the iman, the amal as-salih, the good deeds, and advising to what? To calling the da'wah, the haqq, and then having sabr. And you'll find that these people don't have these four components. Even if they're a Muslim, they're in loss as well, aren't they? So they're looking for ways out, and they find, the West, spirituality. So it's like they get on the bandwagon. As the Prophet ﷺ said, even if they were to go into the lizard hole, you were going after them. That's what's happened now. So you'll find now that you have some Muslims who are getting involved in yoga and things like this, and meditation. So I find peace. See, we already have that. Allah bi dhikri Allahi tatma'innu qulub. Through the remembrance of Allah, the hearts find assurance. The true raha, you relax, the peace of heart. We have that in Islam. But unfortunately, we don't take advantage of what we have. We don't benefit from it, subhanAllah. And this is what's happening now, is that because the Muslims are not taking advantage of what they have, they're getting into this thing, they follow the bandwagon, and they go into the lizard hole with it. So anything they do, you'll find all of the things, anything that you'll find from the West, and a lot of times, unfortunately, it can be a lot of the negative things. When it comes to being on time, and things like that, they stay the back home mentality. And doing everything last minute, we have a lot, even sometimes we work with our brothers, they come now and they say, look, I want you to do 15 episodes about this, like tomorrow. I'm like, so I'm like, how do I prepare that in the next 12 hours, and film it all in one day?
As if you didn't already have a schedule.
Not just that. The thing, because you're a student of knowledge, that all you have to do is push enter, and it's just like. And they should know, because even them, when they have to prepare something, I'm sure it's well prepared. But unfortunately, sometimes they don't. Then it's like, but alhamdulillah, it's. I think even from this Hajj, it's actually inspired me. The way they're improving. They're getting. And I heard before I came, because we have some Saudi students with us in Ireland, that many things are done online now. The speeding is going down because exactly, it's very good.
It's improved quite a lot. Actually. Even my experience coming since 2007 until now, things are improved quite significantly.
You could tell.
I mean, imagine just going to get a license or just applying for something.
Yeah.
It was actually very difficult. But now everything is online. It's
Yeah,
much
very good,
easier.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is alhamdulillah. There's a good sign they're getting there. And don't forget, even in the West, they weren't there some time back. Well,
Absolutely.
Eventually we'll get there. And don't forget that, I mean, a lot of the things here, and we tend to forget this, we're dealing with, in this part of the world, tribes from the desert, And some of them recently, like, we're talking about like 30 years time, came into the cities. These people, they're on a different page altogether.
Right.
So it takes time, to get, these type of people used to things,
And it's also a relatively new country. Like, when was Saudi Arabia established?
I mean, it's been over 100 years, but we're talking about the in the cities now. Not all of them, maybe 30, 40 years, 50 years, some of them, these things are all new. We're talking about people who came, I'm talking straight out of the nomads out of the desert, bro.
And a lot of their parents, I know, are not educated.
Yeah,
A lot of the parents, older generation, people in the 60s, 70s, aren't educated.
Because there wasn't education for them at that time.
Exactly.
So you see it's vastly improving. People are becoming more aware, and it's much better, alhamdulillah.
Especially with the younger generation, because I teach English part-time, and Mikhail, I'm sure, mixes with the youth as well. And they're totally different. Like they're a lot cooler. They're a lot more intelligent. They're mashallah, there's a lot of potential.
So you see, it's good. Well, like, even now, one of the things that really amazed me, some of the pictures that I've seen about the police. So I got one that was like really awesome one. I should put it on social media. It was amazing because there was a little boy. He was lifting up to drink from the water fountain. It was really a beautiful sight to see how the police officers are. Wallahi, and I have one picture where they're. If you look at it, like, what is this? It looks like a bunch of dead people. And you look at it, it's the police. They're so tired.
Oh, the police are laying.
Yeah, they're laying down on the ground. These are the ones who have finished their shift.
Oh no.
On the cement, bro.
Oh no.
Just leave that. That's how exhausted they are. But wallahi, even with this, I've not seen like one rude person.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you find a few rude people.
Yeah,
and now, like, all of them are like smiling and very helpful, and it's been really, really nice to the side.
You're right.
It's a big difference, alhamdulillah.
And something like that is inspirational to us. We were talking last night, me and a few of the brothers, about being disheartened, you know what I mean? Just disheartened by a lot of things, rather it be a khutbah that somebody's abusing you, saying, wallahi, we're nothing. The Salaf used to pray 1,000 rakats. And,
You're pathetic.
And you're like, man, I can't. I'm struggling to pray the 12, man.
Exactly. And instead of coming out feeling, motivated and inspired, you feel depressed.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
You always have to look at the positive side, I mean, one of the brothers, he said, you don't come around a lot, I say, every time I come around, you talk about negative things. You feel, I have to be honest with you,
Right.
I say, I love you for the sake of Allah, but I say, because we want to talk about that, I was like, there's no hope here, He said, the people here, they're lost cause, it's just like, I don't want to hear that, man. So let's be inspired with some of the positive things we're doing.
Exactly.
That was moving forward. It's slow, okay, but at least we're moving.
Exactly.
Let's inspire ourselves, It's
There's
like,
actually hadith that says, من قال أهلك الناس فهو أهلكهم.
I'm very good at it.
Meaning, whoever says the people are lost, there's two riwayas. فهو أهلكهم, يعني he is the most lost of them. And another narration, فهو أهلكهم. He is indeed made them lost by his statement. By just believing that the people are lost, you made them lost.
Exactly.
So it's always good to focus on the positive side. And then we have the nasiha, as the Prophet said. When there's something, you can give nasiha. And alhamdulillah, they'll accept it, inshallah ta'ala. So you can see the improvements, alhamdulillah. And this is how the Muslim always has to be improving himself at all times. So it's a big change. And that's inspirational, alhamdulillah, that the Muslims will eventually get there. And you have other countries, like smaller countries, who are actually very good in the system and things like this. I saw some nice things when I was in Dubai. I was living there. About the system is very good. So, alhamdulillah, and you'll see that all of that, inshallah, eventually it will spread to all the Muslim countries.
Even Pakistan, I heard, is developing a lot.
I'm never feeling Dubai, though.
You're not feeling Dubai?
No, but when it comes to the system, it's amazing. First of all, you drive there, you feel very safe.
I mean, on a secular, systematic level, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about from that aspect. Okay. I remember even I was in, one time I was going to go do something in the passport services, so I called a few of the locals there, and I was like, I need a wasla, I need a
connection.
Yeah, connection. Somebody who knows somebody. They're like, you don't need it. I was like, it's impossible in an Arab country that you can go to some place and get something done unless you know somebody. It'll take a few days. He said, no. He said, not here. He said, just. And I was like, no way. They said, look, he said, just call. There's a free number. I said, the answer?
Do the answer. That's the question. Do the answer. Is the number correct?
Yeah, and he said, yes, the answer. So the answer right away, Bismillah. And I was like, okay, I need to do this for my wife's visa. They said, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what the brother told me. Yeah. I wrote it down. I said, nothing else. I go in, and they take a number. I'm like, this is impossible. This is impossible. I'm like, it's not going to be true. Okay, so I'm just waiting. Okay, everything's coffee, tea. Wow. Bismillah.
Really?
And then some dates, Bismillah. Then I go up in the thing, and actually you pay like something small, 15 riyals, and they print out the thing for you. That's the first step. You have the paper with you. When you go into the thing, they already ask you, do you want to have it mustajil? Express or regular?
Regular, yeah.
Now express costs 100 riyals, and regular costs 15.
A dirham, you mean dirhams.
Yeah, dirham. Dirhams and riyals, basically the same thing. So 15 or 100. And they bring it to you on the motorcycle. Wow. They bring it to you 3 days later. Right. Or you get it on the spot. It's your choice,
So this service is for everyone or just celebrities?
Everybody. Okay. I'm not believing it, So it's like this, and they print out the visa right there in front of you because you didn't pay express. They put it on the side, and then I'm in the office. They call me. They say we're outside with the thing. 3 days later, you get the passport in your hand. Nice. It's up to you. I said, wow, it's amazing, Another time I remember that. I came in to do something, and he asked, what is the number of your thing? I gave him the wrong number. I read the number, actually the number was down here. So I gave the wrong number, and he said, no, it's not finished yet. So I was standing there, and as he got up to pray Asr, he went to go pray Asr, and the officer was in charge. He said, no, where are you going? He said, the Mutawwa, he said he's still standing there. He said, it's forbidden for somebody to stand. So you have to finish this thing first before you go and pray. He said, we don't have any customer who stands. And when they looked at the paper, I gave him the wrong number, so I apologize. Oh, actually, I didn't know. I gave you the wrong number. So then he finished it right away, and then went and prayed his salat, So you can see it's very good. And you'll see that all the other countries here in the region as well, they're also progressing. And here, don't forget as well, in Saudi Arabia, you're talking about their population is more than all of them.
More than Qatar, more than
so if you put all of them together, they're much more. And and we're talking about they're closer communities because they're small communities in other Gulf countries, whereas here. Huge land, different tribes from the north, the south. So it's much more complicated than people think. People think it's difficult, it's easy. No, it's not because people are so different. Even we have it like in America, people are so different in this. And you go to certain states, I always joke because I was born and raised in Virginia. So they told West Virginia, I said, no, we kicked them out. That's why we separated them from us. We went this thing was a joke between us because they're a bit different how they think and act. So it's a joke between us, obviously. But you'll see the mentality is different. So the same thing here. It takes time, but it's growing. And many things are recent here. Alhamdulillah. But eventually, it'll like people talk about like racism. When did slavery finish here in Saudi Arabia? When was it abolished completely? 1975. People don't realize this. So when you have some of the older people who might have a bit of this, it's against Islam. Yes, but they had this recently. It wasn't like in the West. It was like over 150 years ago or something. Yeah. Like that. So it's different. And even if you look at the racism now in the ways that there's some racism here. So well, they don't shoot you if you're from a different country.
Funny story. Just a funny story. Around the time that a lot of the blacks were being killed in America. It's still happening, right? But what happened was, I was in Riyadh, and I was driving, and I reached a red light. Okay, I reached a red light, and there was a traffic officer standing there. Like, my window was open. I don't have AC, so my window was open.
He's into zuhud. He also remember the akhirah. No AC in Riyadh. How do you do it?
I did it for 2 months.
Yeah. And I did actually when I was a student in Medina. I did
2 years.
Yeah, I did it for I think a few years in Medina as well.
So anyways, I'm at the red light, and this officer's right beside me. I'm like, oh, don't look at me, don't ask me for anything. He looks at me, he's like, Hatitbatik, like, show me your ID. No, sorry. He said to me, do you have a driver's license? I was like, pardon? He's like, do you have a driver's license? I was like, I was like, okay. He's like, I'm asking you a question, do you have a driver's license? I was like, don't move! I was like, chill. I'm scared. I don't know what he's going to do, right? So I'm like, just chill. He's like, I'm asking you a question, do you have a driver's license? I'm like, he's like, do you? I'm like, yes, I do. He's like,
Hey, go.
Maybe he just wanted to know if I had one. I was like,
Because you look and
I think I realized this because I look like I'm 16.
He's 16 as well.
So he's probably like,
Driving dad's car.
exactly.
You know, sometimes they are very helpful as well to actually general public, the police officers actually, you know.
Oh yeah, alhamdulillah.
Even in case sometimes, for example, you have a vehicle accident and if someone is not insured or something, and they ask you actually to settle it down between yourselves instead of actually making a report on this. You know, they're saying that, okay, if you can help each other. So they're quite good at this actually.
I remember it happened when I had an incident. Somebody did something to me. I mentioned in one of my films. I want to stay positive. I don't want to say too much negative. It was a rather difficult altercation. You know? But then when it came time, they put us in front of him. And the guy, actually they did it really cool. I was talking to one of the people. I looked in front of me, and there was like 4 guys sitting. They said, "Is any of these guys?" They all had sunglasses on. Is any of these guys one of the ones who did what he did? And I said, "This guy here." So they said, "Look," they said, "it's up to you." They said, "If you want your haqq, you get it all. He's going to get it. You're going to whip him, in the courts. But I said, it's up to you." They said that what al-afu is good, to forgive, and they mentioned some ayat and some hadith. So it was very good. Put you kind of a religious state. And then I want to get my haqq from this guy, myself. Then you hear the ayat and the hadith. I'm like, man. I said, hold on. I said, let me go. So I pick up the phone. I call one of the sheikhs, and I was like, Sheikh, this is the situation. I said, what should I do? I said, inside. I said, I want the guy to get whipped, because he deserves it. But I said at the same time, I said, I want to be from those who Allah mentioned, who forgives, Don't you want Allah to forgive you,
Right.
So he said, no, he said the afu is better to forgive and this, Sometimes I forgive. It was really interesting how they remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that situation, Alhamdulillah.
Curiosity leads me to ask, what did you do?
It's just if you go on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, you hear the whole story. He said he spat in my face in Ramadan. He spat in my face, and he said what I did, and I said, yeah. So it was an altercation.
In Medina?
Yeah, man. It happened during Ramadan.
It was an accident, or
what happened? I was coming out, and I had like an old hoopty, 1979. My head hit the top of the ceiling. It was so small,
no shock.
Yeah, so I'm coming out, hit this car, horn blowing, really. And there was nobody coming, but they drive fast, so they get there.
Right.
And there was like this little flea market on the side, like people from coming from Umrah from Chechnya. They were selling like honey and different things on the side of the road. So people were stopping and seeing what they had. Me and my friend, there's a French brother who was with me in university. So subhanAllah, what happened is he came over and he was honking, he was cursing. It was Ramadan, and I had just got an operation the day before, my wisdom tooth removed. And it was a big operation with the guy drilling and actually drilled into the tooth in front of it as well, alhamdulillah. Anyways, so I was still recovering from that, right? So the guy, I said, Manish, I'm sorry. I said, but I'm here now. Right. I said, he keeps blowing horn. I said, what are you going to do? You're going to ram into my car? Sure enough, and his car was brand new. My car was old. He hits the gas and rams into my car, I said, wow, I couldn't believe it. He gets out, obviously, my door, I can't get out, I said, khalas. I said, and even though he ran into my car, I said, it's Ramadan, we're fasting. He's spits in my face. For me, all of the ibadah and stuff, that just went through the window here. But because for me, I know what it is that in front of the public, he wants to get out. He wants to call you kalb, himar, take off his iqal and try to hit you with it. But for me, I said, no, I have a different plan for you. I'm going to do like we do back home. I'm taking the back road where there's no witnesses. So I told him, I said, ta'al, follow me. I said, I'll show you how we do.
don't fight. That's the thing.
No. He had 2 options on this one here. So he's going to fight or he's going to run. So I told him, follow me. I said, hey, come down. So he followed me in the back road. The thing is, I don't really know French people. I know if it's like an American brother with me that I wouldn't have to ask him, I told him, I said, in case, he gets I just had an operation, so in case he hits me, I might be hurt.
But the French are violent, though.
Yeah, they step in, Yeah, so, but from the Sunnah, you remember in the Ghazwa of Badr, Prophet he kept saying, because he knows the people in Mecca, he doesn't have to ask them, he knows them well, but the Ansar, they're new for him. So he kept saying, he said, do you mean us, Ya Rasulullah? The Ansar came and said, he said, of course we gave you we're going to be with you no matter what. So this is the type of same thing. I don't really know these people. I'm new with them. So I said, if I need some backup, just jump in. I said, I don't think I'm going to need it, honestly. But so he tells me, he says, La. No, he said, you're a student of knowledge. You're a student of hadith. And he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, Inni sa'im, he said, verily I'm fasting. When I heard the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, all the anger went away, and I controlled myself. And I said, just write down the license plate number. I said, we'll go to the police. Where's the place? And I turned, maybe you turned to the police station and said, this is what happened, alhamdulillah. They actually got him, and they put his car, they impounded his car for like the last 10 days of Ramadan. 'Cause I was in Mecca last 10 days of Ramadan. They were trying to get into contact with me, I wasn't around. But when I got back, I went and they, alhamdulillah, that's what happened, alhamdulillah. May Allah.
I mean, that's a serious violation.
Oh, yeah. That's something
That's pretty hard. That's pretty hard.
May Allah forgive.
I mean, that's a 1-2 right away.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you had hit him, nobody would say anything about it because that's a violation. People, you don't spit in somebody's face.
Of the highest order.
So even if I were to have hit him, I think police officer wouldn't have had a problem because that's something. Maybe if I took him on the back road, that was a little bit more premeditated.
Alhamdulillah that you had someone with you.
Yeah, well, that's the importance of reminding. I
mean, but it's not like it would have been bad if you hit him, though.
I think because I took him on the back road, maybe. I think on the front road, maybe they wouldn't have said anything.
That's self-defense.
No, but it's a reaction. That's the problem. If I'm saying you can imagine,
it's an accurate
if it happened to me now, I mean, to be honest, I mean, the fact that I was in the car, I couldn't get out, that was one thing. But then I just said, because I mean, for me, immediately I said back road. That's what because I know the whole iqal thing and this. I know he doesn't want to fight. He wants to make a scene, pull us apart. And that wasn't my objective then, because I wanted to make sure he paid for.
Learned a lesson.
Yeah, he learned a lesson. So that's why I went to the back road. But the thing is, you can imagine if you're standing, if somebody did that, I mean, I think a natural reaction would be the one too, like you said.
The natural reaction as soon as it happens, not 2
That's
minutes. Let's go over there.
That's it. Yeah,
that planning right there is
That's
not self-defense. That's not a reaction.
Yeah, that's it.
That's you deserve pain. You deserve something.
I mean, but for me, respect is a big issue, and if you break the respect, it's like.
Oh yeah, like alhamdulillah, like that's a good thing about having good company as well, to remind you. I remember when I told the story, the American brothers like, man, we wouldn't have said nothing to you. He would have had to got beat down.
Had to.
That's what another American is saying. Yeah.
You cannot transgress in getting your right back.
Yeah.
You mean? If he hit you once, you can't hit him twice.
It's very good.
Sometimes in those situations you forget and you go over. Do you mean?
I remember one of the brothers, mashallah, he's may Allah preserve me. He's a black belt in kickboxing, and he's a very strong brother, mashallah. So he said that he got in an argument with a cab driver one time, and they told him, they said, he wanted like 10, and then he said no, it's 20, it was too far. He said, we agreed on 10.
I know,
He
right?
said, and we agreed on something. The Muslims, when they agree on something, that's
it.
Plus. So he said, look, here's your 10 that we agreed upon, and he gets out of the car. The guy gets out, and he's like, have to give me more. He said, we agreed upon this. So he comes and he tries like to hit him. And the brother's a professional, fighter, So he blocks him in a way and just kind of moves him out of the way until and then he fell on the ground. Any logical person would realize what this man did is not what a normal person does. To be able to grab my hand like this and twist it and make me end up on the ground. Yeah, that's it. Let me get in my car and just go off. No, for him, he didn't think like that. He's like, okay, I got something for you. He comes out with a metal pipe. And the brother's like, okay, now I have no choice.
Now I gotta work you.
He comes with metal, and catches it and just like twists the arm, puts him on the ground. Then he has to get him on. And he goes to sleep for a few minutes. And the guy's like, so I had no choice. The first time the first time was a warning shot. Alhamdulillah. Like I was talking to the brother today, if you have a kick, like the leg kick onto the leg in the beginning, if you do something like that to somebody and you kick really hard, he should realize, hey, this guy knows it. He shouldn't try to continue in. But some people in the rage.
Seriously, like they're lost in their rage sometimes. He knows he can't win.
Here's the Hajj, is what it's training to control the rage, isn't it? Ramadan's training us to control the rage. I'm fasting. At the same time, Hajj, and you have to be patient. And I mentioned the story the other day when the guy was coming with the wheelchair. Nobody on the top floor except us. Nobody. It's just me. You heard the story the other day when I said yeah. You guys with me, yeah? Nobody with us. Just me and my friend. It was like, we were coming for Hajj. We were on the top level. It was like 7 days after the 13th, like the 20th of Dhul Hijjah. So we're doing tawaf with that. It was still a bit crowded on the bottom. So we had a lot of free time. So we want to make more ibadah and be peaceful. We didn't want to be in there. So we were on the top making our dhikr, and what have you. And he was in a hurry. He had the wheelchair, had the elderly with him. So he wanted to run around the top. So we're on the corner. There's nobody, bro. Just me, the brother with me, and this guy. And he comes and cuts the corner, just like to save 2 seconds. Literally, the wheelchair goes into my foot and just like rips it open. I still have the scar till today. SubhanAllah. The blood starts coming out. And I'm just like, and that's a 1-2 right there as well. It's a reaction. You have to get knocked out for that. I say, if it was a crowd, if it was a crowd around you, you would understand maybe that mistakes happen, right? There's nobody. It's a huge open area. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, what was in your mind? But then I just thought about, I've been here in Hajj since the 8th. And now it's the 20. I've been here for 12 days, All of this ibadah now is going to go, last thought, I was like, I just had to really control myself.
Did he say anything, like Afwan or
Exactly the same thing. The other day, we were going to off, and then there's one guy with a wheelchair, and there's another guy, very old couple, they are walking on the side. And the guy, for some reason, he goes all the way, cuts the way, and walks over his feet. And the guy goes, he starts screaming, that why? Can't you see you're blind or something? Why you will leave the proper road and come and walk over my feet?
Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but to be fair and honest, they've organized it now. They realize it was a problem. This is a good thing what the Saudi government is doing now. They're realizing the problems in their solve. So now only registered people can go. You can't just be somebody coming from the street. That was the problem before. Any guy from the street, he would come in and he would give his ID and he would have one of these wheelchairs and he just run havoc inside of the. But now, no, you have to actually have. You see, they have the vest
numbers,
on
exactly,
and numbers. So the
They probably
registered.
complain and everything.
Speaking of the wheelchairs, this morning, I think it was like maybe 2 a.m., I was with a brother, and he's a fit brother, he could walk, but what happened was he had problems with his feet. He had a lot of blisters, and we were coming from Jamarat, and he couldn't walk anymore. So he said, "Khalas, we'll take a wheelchair." And basic economic supply and demand. You really need a wheelchair. There's one guy that can do it. He's there. So the brother asked him how much, and he said 100 riyals. 100 riyals, $35, just for 10 minutes. It's a lot. It's very expensive, but he can do that because there's nobody else. So he said, "Khalas, I have no choice. I can't walk." So he gets in the wheelchair and he starts pushing him. About 2 minutes later, one of the security guards sees him. He's like, "Where's your license to be pushing people?" And he's like, "Oh, I forgot it." The guy's like, "Really?" And then he asked the brother, he's like, "How much did he charge you?" And he's like, 100 riyals. He's like, "No, no, 30 maximum." And the guy's like, no, I didn't, the guy, the pusher was like, "I didn't really say 100, I just said whatever you want. I didn't give him a figure." So the security guy forced us to 30 maximum, don't pay anything more. And I was just like amazed. I recorded it. I was like, "Is this happening?" No. For me, like I'm saying, it's like, is it real sometimes?
I know.
Because we saw the old days,
Yeah.
And now it's like you see things like this. I'm hearing this now. It's amazing, these type of stories, because the effort, that they're putting into it, and they're really, really changing.
Even in the Ramadan, I noticed as well, there was more organized towards the end of Ramadan.
At the same time, some of the guys that are manning certain points, you can actually speak to them and reason with them, because maybe they have rules. But if they see the situation doesn't...
like this, here you have a brother with blisters on his feet, can't walk. The guy didn't have permission, he didn't have a license.
Take it off and kick him off.
But it's more harm for the Haji to get down. But he stood up for him. He let him push him, but he said, "Look," he said, "No, you're not going to charge him more than 30.
But the brother ended up paying 100 anyway. The brother, why? He didn't care, he was just like, "Khalas, we agreed on 100, take it."
No, I would have paid him 30.
And walk away, right?
I want my change.
You should be cheating the judge, man.
The other night, looking for some tent location, and we turned down one ramp that you're not allowed to go back up, but we weren't allowed to go in as well because we didn't have the right
Bracelet.
Badge or
Yes.
whatever.
to enter that specific camp. So we were stuck. So then we went back up the ramp, and we heard one of the security guys saying, "Ya Hajj," calling. So we said, "Okay, there's so many Hajjis around, we're just going to continue." But he came up to us and he stopped us and he said, "You're not allowed to go back up here. I was calling you." So he said to him, "All of us are Hajj." We don't know you were speaking to us. But in any case, we said to him, we got lost. We came down here thinking we're going to find where we're going. Now we're stuck, we cannot go this way. He said to us, "Okay, go quickly, because my manager's going to..." He's told us not to allow anyone, but I understand your situation, and he was very nice about it. Obviously, in a more tricky situation, he might not allow us to go back up. But he let us go and he was friendly about it. Alhamdulillah. So we had these kind of moments all throughout the experience. The guys are really sincerely looking to prevent any funny things, but accommodating as well. Not being too
Flexible.
too strict.
The only problem I had was the barber.
How much did you guys pay for your haircuts? How much did you pay?
We're good,
He wanted 40.
I got that to 30. People at the
I
haram.
wanted 25.
People at the haram, look at that. 50. No, 50. Look, 50. 50. 50. 50. We got 30. We got 30.
What was that for?
50. It's supposed to be 10 regular.
20, man.
Maybe 20.
You paid 20? Where?
And
then what do you call it?
After
the clock tower.
Oh, you did it after?
No, the clock tower.
Yeah, in the clock tower.
Yeah, in that area, yeah.
Right,
I
where's
think
the
it's good.
Razor, yeah.
But
How much?
20? No, they charge us 50.
In the same place?
Yes.
You
In
were
the
in the same
clock tower
place?
underneath.
Clock
yeah.
tower?
Yeah.
listen to this, me and
We
Juan.
also went to the same place and we paid 20.
But you went to a shop or just in the street you find some...
You're on the street or in the shop?
No, inside the
Shop inside the clock tower.
Yeah, shop.
And one of the guy,
But
Yes, fund.
these definitely they have set prices. So if they charge it, maybe it depends on the time. I did mine in the last third of the night because our group, because of the elder and the women, we did 12
It's
first.
different. It's different.
Yeah,
We
so-
did a Asr.
So I came at 4 a.m. I came at 4 a.m. like a little bit after 4, before
yeah.
the Adhan al-Fajr.
no, we were in the
No
afternoon.
one's there. No one's there. It's fine. We did a Dhuhr.
Yeah, so we did for 4:20.
That's a surprising thing is on the ticket they've written 40 riyal. So now he's getting a lot of customers. He's crossed it and he's written 50 by hand.
Oh, really?
And one of the guy came and complained and told him that I'm going to report to the police. You know what you are doing. He said, feel free, go.
No, if he says feel free, then that means they have permission to raise it maybe because of the issue of the crowds. It's possible.
Could be.
Just like me and Brother Juan, after the Jamarat, right? We went down the hill and we wanted to get our haircuts. And, everyone's getting their haircut. And the thing is, you have two options. Either some random guy in the street cuts it, or you go to a shop.
The problem with the random guy in the street, by the way, is that if you get caught and they can kick him out of and you have like half your haircut, so then you're in trouble.
I wasn't really worried about that.
Disease. We got message from the ministry saying that be careful who you cut your hair with. Don't use the old razor blade. We get some diseases. and things like that.
I mean,
That's
half a haircut was at least in my worries. So we found 3 guys that were cutting random guys. So I asked the first guy, I was like, are you using a new blade? I said, my biggest concern, are you using a new blade?
Of course, yeah.
He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, how much is your haircut? He's like, 20. I'm like, 20? Fine, whatever. So I was waiting for the first guy, and Juan was waiting for the second guy. Then this brother Juan. So what happened was, the first guy, when he's cutting the guy's head, he was literally cutting his head. Like there was like blood spots everywhere. I was like, okay, I'm not going to this guy. I'm going to wait over here. Then the next guy, I think he was from Morocco or something. He got his hair cut. He was looking at it like this. I'm like, brother, look at your ear, and dripping blood down his ear. I was like, Juan, we're leaving.
and that's why we talk about the importance of teamwork during the Hajj, and we say that we shouldn't help these people because you're helping them do that which is wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't know what they're doing.
They're
They
not
don't-
professionals,
and many of them, they will use the same blade twice.
It's the same money because he told me it cost 15 or he's probably exaggerating. Probably 5-10 riyals just for the blade. He was making like 5-10 riyals profit. So we left and we went to the professional one. Paid 25. So whatever. I mean,
But the thing is now, because if we want the things to get better, we have to work with the authorities.
Yeah.
And this is forbidden. And it came in just in the message. The brother said, don't do this, okay? So all of us need to stay. If people stop doing it, then in the future, there's not going to be a problem with this, is there, You're talking about diseases. You're talking about also sometimes, the crowds can't walk in that place because people.
Yeah.
So-
Hair everywhere. When I finished my haircut, I was just waiting in front for the other guys to finish. Then these 2 guys walked to me and say, can I ask you something? I said, yes. I thought maybe he's asking for direction. He says, can you cut my hair? What? Do I look like a barber to you? To cut your hair? I said, no. There's barbers go to a barber.
Trim it for you.
It's Hajj, but I can't.
Specifically a razor blade. If it was a machine.
Yeah, you want me to cut your ears?
The machine I can try maybe.
Anybody can do that. Just,
But yeah, the results were not that nice. What we saw. So
Yeah, that brother, he didn't feel it. He was just dripping. I was like, brother, your ear. He's like, what about it? I was like,
How's my head?
are you asleep today? He's like,
Little massacre.
Honestly, every time I get like 5-10 cuts minimum.
wow.
You don't feel them?
it's not that
Really? Maybe it's like your pimples, maybe?
No. I've got dandruff, bad dandruff. That's what I
Or what is it? That gives you...
They just cut something. Cut skin, I
I
don't know.
told you not to go to that guy anyways, though.
Come on,
The guy we went to finished 2 heads and you were still working on it.
Me, it was like that. It was like that. He used 2 razors on my head. 2 razors.
You
On my
up there to hear me finish
head.
and
He
you're
used
still
2
working.
razors on my head.
Why?
Really?
Because implant.
Oh my God. It's gross, man. But
What's that liquid? Is it just water or?
Water.
or soap, sometimes soap.
No, you're not any time in the season, Hajj, they don't use soap, there's just water. Straight water.
yeah.
Just water.
Just water in your head.
Yeah.
That's a bit quick, yeah. Use usually soap and water to make it easy.
Shaving cream is like a luxury.
I was
Bring
wondering.
it on, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually a good idea. I never thought about that. Bring your own shaving cream.
But the good thing I like now is even the blades they're using now, it's disposable ones.
Yeah. One time you.
Before they would take out the blade. Which
Yeah. And then alcohol and then burn it and fire and.
So what is the condition of cutting the hair? I mean, because the guy was, I asked, when he asked me to shave his head, I said, it's 2 of you, why don't you shave or go to the barber and shave each other? He said, no, because he just did Umrah. He hasn't done the tawaf as well yet. And
you could shave first, but obviously people want to do the 12 first.
No. I think what he's saying is as a muhrim.
You know, I like to
cut
shave.
someone else's hair.
if both of them are still in ihram, they can cut each other's hair? Is there any condition about this?
No problem.
Because he said, oh, he's still in ihram and I'm still in ihram. We can cut each other's hair.
No. It's
Nothing. It's nothing.
Like, you know, Said, like when it comes to hunting animals, that's something obviously nobody does here, but I'm saying, as a pilgrim, you can't slaughter an animal, even if it's for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe qiyas on that.
No. The cutting hair is not a problem. But nonetheless, I mean, it should be. You could have done anyone first. I mean, but always we have to say, like, we go to the professionals. Don't go to these people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Subhanallah.
So let's get some more fighting stories.
That's funny. I've heard surprising things that I'm a small person. I've never been in a fight before, ever. I don't know why, but I always wanted to, but I never noticed. Especially you're a big guy, people are supposed to like run away from you. You're not supposed to like come and pick fights.
No, because I've never seen a little car. And
The car is different.
I asked people used to cut me off in this, and I asked one of the chefs, he said, you want some true advice? I think he said, change your car, you know.
Definitely.
He said, you have a nicer car, people will respect you more.
Oh yeah, of course.
Unfortunately. So when I got a newer car, actually, it was much different driving. Now people see me, huh?
You know, it's interesting you said that because I was thinking the same thing. Like, there's this something about your outer appearance that actually serves to deter people away from you, especially your car. I'm not.
The car's a big deal here.
I know. It's
We're gonna
like
cut
if
a
you
big-
have a Yaris or something like that.
I got a Yaris. Making fun of me?
I mean, I had one also. but-
I just bought a Yaris for my wife. It's not mine.
Wife? Yeah. I'm so offended. I worked hard for my Yaris.
I don't know.
No AC.
We've got a car that's the old GMC, big steel bumper bar.
The 90s.
Which got the exhaust is like boom, 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 boom. So it's like no one comes near it.
It's very
no
intimidating.
problem.
No, I mean, like, but talking about on the street, so it's interesting because I said a lot of times people don't say, like in the West, racist thing to me. They say, no, they see you're a big guy, so they say, I think twice, you know, maybe I shouldn't say anything, you know, like to insult you or something like that, because they don't know what's going to happen, right?
Why would you hear anything racist anyway?
No, it happens sometimes with people who hate Muslims.
The beard.
West.
Not the color, but the beard.
The beard is normal now in the West, man.
Really? Is it?
Oh, it's spread everywhere.
Really?
Not that big though, right?
Yeah, the bigger, man. We talk about even
I
bigger,
didn't
man.
understand that.
It's a fashion now. When I first went to Ireland, I didn't know it was a new fashion. It started to come in, right? So I was like seeing like these Irish, you know, Muslim brothers. I was like, mashallah. I was like, salam alaikum, bro. You know, he's like,
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, he's a biker guy.
no, not even bikers. It's like the hipsters now. The hipster, yeah. The hipsters are doing that. Even the trousers above the ankle.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's like they're like on the sunnah, man.
Very style, like the long moustaches, the short moustaches.
You know, most are longer mustaches though, but they have big beards. Even like you know, we have even like some like NBA stars like James Harden, NBA star, who has a big beard. So it's become very fashion in the West. So I mean, if I'm wearing like you know some jeans or you know some some athletic clothes or something like that, people wouldn't even know I was a Muslim. Man. It's not like back in the day, like a beard. Okay, but the beard does nothing. It means nothing nowadays.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that fashion will pass, and everyone will start shaving their beards.
Exactly.
So we'll stay strong, bro. Inshallah. Until the end, inshallah.
Yeah, we'll stay strong. Yeah, we'll stay strong. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah.
Yeah.
Some Muslim young guys have been influenced by this fashion trend to grow beards.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that some of them have grown the beard according to the fashion
Yeah.
and not according to the sunnah way of growing the beard. So the beard is in a specific kind of style, and they cut their hair very short on the edges here and leave it long on top. And the moustache gets very long as well. This is all part of one specific style, which is called the hipster. Even those tight pants and that kind of thing.
I hate those.
Me too.
Seriously.
So, but
Like, dude, can my son get his pants back?
I mean, if a Muslim,
Stole them from his room.
if a guy did feel kind of strange about growing a beard, but he knew that he should really have a beard, and this fashion came in and made having a beard okay, and then he grew the beard with this double kind of knee.
Yeah.
What would you say to such a situation?
Having a beard is better than having no beard, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, it goes back to your need. What's your intention?
Yes,
you know?
yes.
If somebody has the intention to be like a hipster, that's what his reward's going to be. You know? He's not going to get any reward.
What I'm saying is, and I've come
But we
across
have to
this
realize
myself.
that the beard, why do we grow the beard? It's ibadah. It's a form of worship.
Yes.
Because we're doing it because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People used to ask me, before you were a Muslim, did you have a beard? I said, yes, I had a beard. Not a beard this big, obviously. I had like a little,
Line up.
line up, it was a beard.
Chin strap. That's it.
No, it was a full beard. But
Everything's called diko.
I used to really despise, what do you call it, not having a beard. I remember I had to go to military school for some time, and when I was in high school, and I had to shave. And for me it was like, it was horrible. I remember to go back to my neighborhood for the vacation. People would laugh at me, without the beard, you look funny. So we used to always have like beards, like small beards though. But after we became Muslim, alhamdulillah, we grew the beard long. Why? Because it's the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're doing it as a form of ibadah, a form of worship, And we joke sometimes. The brother would say, they say, like now say, but Muslim men don't have to wear hijab. I said, yes, they do. He said, don't wear it. Why don't you wear it? I said, no, this is our hijab. Alhamdulillah. This is your test, Do you keep it or not? The sister, she has her test with her hijab. This is for us. And what it's supposed to do is supposed to give a sign about somebody who's, because even like the scholars say what the beard does, it actually is a form of protection. Because when you have a beard, especially a sunnah beard, because you can tell like these hipsters, you can tell the difference. When you have like the shorter mustache and the beard, you can see if it's a sunnah type beard. Can you go to a club with a sunnah beard in a Muslim country?
No.
If you look at somebody who's practicing, but let's say your iman got weak, and you want to go to the club, and people are like, people are going to be, they're in the club, he has a drink in his hand, he's like, what are you doing here, Haram alayk, Say, what about you? It's not haram for you. He's like, may Allah make tawbah on me, but you shouldn't be here. So that's why they say, because we say in Arabic, which means I'm growing it, I'm nourishing it, I'm training the beard to grow longer. It's actually al-lihya tarabbik, that the beard is what's training you, because it's actually protecting you. And this is one of the wisdoms behind it. Many people don't realize, and it's the sign of submitting. Because even when you wake up in the morning, you see yourself in the mirror. It reminds you that you're somebody who has submitted to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. I don't touch my beard. I don't shave it because it's submission. And this is what Islam means. And it's Islam, to submit to the command of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala and the command of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and to stay away from what they told us to stay away from. This is Islam. Not the ones who come down and say it means peace, brother. It's not peace. Yeah, it leads to peace. But what it means is to submit to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. This is the form of submission. Because why do you do it? Because we're commanded to do it. The Prophet ﷺ told us to grow our beards and trim our mustaches. So we say, sami'na wa ata'na. We hear and we obey. This is what we do as Muslims, subhanAllah. And there's many wisdoms behind it, but that's enough. But even health benefits now, maybe you saw some of the new researches they had about the beards and the health benefits that it has in it, and you'll find
Also, especially nowadays in the West, it's a masculine trait, to kind of, not kind of, but definitely help distinguish between the masculine and the feminine. Sometimes you see a guy or I don't even know what you call them sometimes. You just literally, just from the face, you can't tell if it's a he or a she.
You making fun of me? You making fun of me?
No,
You got a mustache. You got a mustache. You got a mustache.
But I mean,
Worked
just,
hard for this.
yeah,
It's hard, man.
You know, like
Because it's like the same.
what we're talking about now, even earlier, as far as just being physical when somebody spits in your face and stuff like that, those traits are kind of disappearing. You know, it's not like a fighting or talking about being masculine or talking about being manly. You see that kind of disappearing. So when somebody doesn't even have a beard, you know, especially when they're younger, if just from looking at the face and the haircut, you really can't tell if it's even a man or a woman sometimes.
That's true.
I've seen some guys like that.
I know in some European countries that was fashion for some time. Like the more feminine you looked, the more hip you were.
Or metrosexual, you know.
This is
More sensitive, and more things like that.
Manicure, pedicure.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
you see the beauty of Islam in many things. So just even now, it's been proven that the scientific benefits of the beard. There's some very interesting articles written recently, some research done. There was also something done by the World Health Organization about the dangers of bacon and sausage. And the far right in the UK, when this came out, they were like, no. Because you're talking about them leaving their bacon and their sausage in the morning, man. So they were like, it's sabotage from the Muslims. It's not real. So the World Health Organization came out and said, this is proper research that's done. It's right there,
Khanzir.
Yeah, the khanzir. With because what was the research? What was the title? It said that, that the sausage and bacon and the pork, these things, it causes cancer more than cigarettes. It's more dangerous than cigarettes. It's actually more dangerous than cigarettes. So they were like, no, they're up in arms. They're like, this couldn't be possible. But they came out and said, no, this is officially from us.
Sheikh, the thing is, like, a lot of Muslims talk about that, and they just assume that their food is a lot better. It may be better Islamically, but like a lot of the foods we eat are high in sugar. What do you call those Pakistani balls? Those.
Yeah, I don't know.
Any Pakistani? Huh?
Glub jobs.
Yeah, that's just sugar balls. You know what I mean? They have Somali halwa, which is Somali jello. It's just sugar and butter.
People, if this is one of my subjects, because when I started to get back into working out, I obviously studied the health side and the food side. So we realized, like in my house now, we have no sugar. You won't find sugar in my house. We had some really high quality brown sugar, usually for guests for their tea. We use like agave nectar for the
Maple syrup?
Maple syrup we use
honey, maybe?
See, one of the good things you guys have from Canada, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, many good things. Green.
Like we get like pure honey, all of these type of things. Date syrup. My wife makes cakes like this, and we have no flour in our house. We don't use flour. We get spelt flour, which is still natural. So we actually make our own bread at home. And we have no white rice. We only use brown rice and these type of things. So we have no pasta. We use pasta. We use brown rice pasta. So we eat very healthy. So we started to study these things, and we don't realize all of this white bread, this white rice, and these things.
Processed food.
All of this white, it turns into sugar. So there was a guy the other day, an old Saudi guy, he was complaining that his diabetes is killing him. And he has this plate of rice like this big. I was like, all of that is going to turn into sugar. That's what it's not. He's like, I said, I don't understand. I'm not eating any sugar. I was like, that's all going to turn into sugar right now. This is bad for you. You don't realize. They're like, wow, And I told a brother today I was talking about brown rice. He was so happy. It was a bit expensive. I think he found like 40 reals for a kilo or something like that. So you can find a bit cheaper, obviously. But you have to know where to go. But anything new, obviously, in the market was going to be more expensive. But and all the trainers now and the health professionals, they recommend the brown rice. And it takes a little longer to cook, obviously, some brands, not all of them. But it's much more healthy. The processed foods, this stuff is horrible. I mean, like the hot dogs,
It's not even food.
It's not food.
Not even food.
And that's what I always say. When somebody gives me like a hot dog, I say, do you know what that is?
Ligaments and
Here, you mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about they're halal hot dogs, but I'm saying none of
but people eat hot dogs?
Yeah.
it's very common. They sell in the frozen section, all the supermarkets. So go on YouTube and see what that is. You're eating what it's made of. I mean, if you can eat a hot dog, or even something like this, these, what do you call it?
Salamis
and whatever you call it.
Processed meat.
Yeah, this processed meat. If you look what this stuff is made of, man, and you can eat it after that, you got a strong stomach, man. I mean, you have a stomach out of metal. I mean, that's proper disgusting. And then look at the health, the harms that it has to you. And this is something that I gave a lecture recently, And if you saw the people in the masjid, they were like, because they never heard, so I talk about this in an Islamic lecture. What I called it the blueprint to success. And I actually want to make it into a course now, maybe in a TV show. Actually, a lot of my TV shows, by the way, it was a lecture, then it became a course, and then it became a TV show. The program. Yes, I remember the one I did for Huda TV here called Missing Ingredients, about how to obtain the pleasure in the prayer, and to really be able to focus and benefit from the prayer. It was a lecture I gave. And they got on YouTube, and some brothers saw it, and they recommended one of the Arab sheikhs had done something in Arabic very similar. So I benefited from what he had done, added to it, and it made it into a course. And then after the course, it got made into a TV show, alhamdulillah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put benefit in it. So about this blueprint to success, what I talk about, I focus on three key areas. The issue of the soul, which is the tazkiyah, and you expect somebody to talk about that in an Islamic lecture. So I didn't go and I went into just the basics, the basic foundation, because I have a course we did in this before, 8-hour course for the purification of the soul. So that was one aspect. The other aspect was knowledge and reading, and I brought a lot of things from non-Muslims to show them how much they. For example, Warren Buffett was the
billionaire.
Yeah, the billionaire. Yeah, the one who's the and when it comes to investments, nobody's reached what he's reached in the history. Measure of investments, anyways. So the guy's is super rich. He's until today, with all of the money he has and all the things, he takes 80% of his time to read. Yeah. Okay. Steve Jobs and them and the head of Apple. Why did they not give the iPads to their own children? Yeah. Why only they get it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day only? And this makes you think the importance of reading. And I gave examples, non-Muslims who were, it was a beautiful research. It was done by a man who he became a millionaire himself. He said, I saw the millionaires, I want to become a millionaire. So how do I become a millionaire? He said, I did, he said, I sat with more than 1,200 millionaires. See, what is the common things they have together? He said, I found the common denominator that all of them have together is their love for reading. All of them. They love reading and self-education. Just so they're always trying to better themselves. So this is something I talk about in depth, and people hear this like, wow, I said, we're the ummah of Iqra, the first ayah. Read, and I said, we don't read, Go on the train in the West and see how many, look at the non-Muslims. On the plane, book. Muslim, telephone. Snapchat. Then if he takes out the menu, see he was about to eat, and that's his concern on the plane, right?
I asked a student once of mine, I teach English as well, I asked the students, what's your favorite book? One student, wallahi, said Twitter. It's Twitter. Like that's it's reading. Sorry.
That was that. Yeah, and then I went into the health aspect. So I said you need to be strong in your mind, and your body and your soul. Absolutely. We always talk about the soul, but we don't talk enough about the mind. And if we talk about the mind, when I talk about just Islamic education, I gave even from the affairs of the dunya about excelling, because that's how we were in our history as well, weren't we? Excelling even in the affairs of the dunya. So having that balance. And don't go back what you asked about the science and this. It's important to have some information about what's going on in the world and understand where things have reached. Then I talk about the health. And when I talk about it, people are like, they never heard this before. Like, it's like you're coming from a different planet or something, And I brought them facts and this and showing them the danger of the food we're eating.
GMO and all that.
Yeah. And people were complaining about, I'm so tired. Why are you so tired? Because what you're eating. I say, you imagine now, if you have a car which runs on regular petrol, and you put diesel fuel inside, what's going to happen to the car? And this is what's happening to our bodies. People don't realize is that even when you look at some of the studies, it shows, for example, if you put like this much sugar into your body can naturally process it. But if you put more than that, it starts to overflow. And that the body doesn't know how to process it. It's something unnatural. We're not talking about like the natural sugar cane that the law created. That's fantastic for your health. But this processed sugar now, the white sugar, it's horrible. And then that's why people now are getting fat, getting overweight. People don't, in their 50s and 60s, they're having knee problems, they can't walk. That's not natural. We have to understand the Prophet, he was in his 60s with the Sahaba. They're in full battle armor on the front lines, man. People are not understanding, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, when he died, how old was he? And he was on the front lines, At the battle. They were strong, they were fighters, The Prophet racing with Aisha radiallahu anha, and how was he? Probably in the beginning of his 60s at that time. It shows he was strong. What was the description of his body, alayhi salatu wasalam? Broad shoulders, flat stomach. And that's somebody who's fit, somebody who's in shape. And when he would wrestle, alayhi salatu wasalam, the person who used to wrestle, nobody could beat him. And the Prophet ﷺ beat him and wrestled him. And beat him again a second time, beat him a third time. So it shows you, about the importance of being in shape. The Prophet, we know from the Sunnah, learning swimming, horseback, even horseback riding, it's not easy. You have to be in shape to be, especially if you're going a long distance and swimming, all of this. We're supposed to be in shape as Muslims, we're supposed to take care of ourselves. And in the food that we're eating, it's just absolutely killing us. People don't realize this. We need to, and I said, I want to challenge now what we're saying in the ayah. I said, I don't want to be the first one to do it, but and I really want to open this up with some of the scholars. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to eat from what is halal and tayyiba. Okay, it's halal, but is it tayyib? Because the understanding that we have now that everything is halal, is tayyib. But is Pepsi tayyib? Okay, I'll tell you, I haven't had we call the fizzy drinks, they call them.
Soft drinks.
Soft drinks, yes. In the UK, they call them fizzy drinks. So I'm being affected. My language is being,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. I call the trunk. I call the trunk the boot now. I have to. Boot. Yeah. And
we don't have trunk.
Boot is a shoe with us.
It's a boot.
Yeah. For me, I'm like learning this new language now. Living in Ireland, alhamdulillah. But I haven't got the accent yet, so alhamdulillah. Subhanallah. So yeah, learning these things, about what it does to your body. It's people don't realize, But I'm saying, so is it tayyib? Okay, is this food? Is it really good for you? Because the Pepsi, so I haven't had it. The other night I had like a Mirinda or something like that. I haven't had it in months, something like that. So if you have it every now and then, okay, it's not going to harm you, is it? But when it's every day, two, 3 times a day, that stuff's going to kill you, man.
Yeah. One question: if we're certain, let's say a certain food, let's say for example, certain food, whatever it is, gives you a disease like cancer or whatever, how can you say it's halal?
That's the thing. That's why I'm saying we need to, as scholars and students, I think we really need to study this now.
Problem is that it's separated.
Even if you look now, like the FDA that you have, the Food Drug Administration we have it like in America, and you have some of the ones in other parts of the world. If you look at the harms of even some of the medicines they're giving us, man, this stuff is dangerous, bro. It all has side effects. What do you call it? The vaccination. When you really study the reality of vaccination,
it's scary.
Even now, one of my youngest sons, mashallah, may Allah bless him, we after we studied and realized they were about vaccination, we didn't give vaccination to him. And they're trying to talk to us. And the thing is, we're talking to doctors. Because what it is, they're coming like the muqallid, the one who's just, he studied and he's saying this. No, but
they get paid as well. I think they get paid probably.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So they're trying to support their. We're saying the harms are clear. Yeah. We have people who know who this autism.
14% in Canada now. 14% in Canada.
Yeah. Autism 14%?
Yeah, in Canada.
Yeah. And they're saying
in the hospital they try to make you feel like, well, you don't know.
Yeah.
We know.
But people are saying, when you see this, even something like Star, which is good. So like I remember Robert De Niro, it happened to his son, and they came out and they spoke about it. Because it's not natural that you have a natural child, and after a vaccination he freaks out and becomes in this state. So it's clear that's where it's coming from. So what they're trying to do now is the ones who have come up with the research, they say no, because so they blackballed him.
Right.
The ones who exposed them have been blackballed, and that's what they're using now to show us that no, actually that research has been rejected. Rejected by who? By you, the people who are the
supporting it.
Yeah, the ones who are making the money out of it. Right. So the reality is that a lot of these things. And even it's been proven that some like high officials in the governments, their own children they don't give vaccination to because they know the dangers of it. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to learn, and this stuff is killing our body. Allah created it for even like medicine-wise now. And I'd advise all the viewers and the brothers something very amazing. And with my travel, I haven't been able to do it as much as I would like to. But there's something amazing, and it's spreading out in the West, which is juicing. Where you go like on a juice diet. But if you don't do it like yourself, you actually go through a proper one, because they're going to show you which fruits and vegetables to mix and
organic stuff
to make sure your body's getting all of the nutrients that it actually needs. And it's amazing. Some people go for 30 days, 60 days, even some are going for 100 days. And you see the documentaries they do about it. People who are like they have medicine in front of them like this, and they're gone from what people who have diabetes.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Cured from this.
Even cancer. Even cancer.
Yeah.
There's this place somewhere in America, I forget where it is, I think my wife was telling me that cancer patients go there.
You're married, Mashallah?
Alhamdulillah.
I thought you were 16.
That's enough for me.
Yesterday I was getting 17, now I'm getting 16. I'm looking at
you said 16, so I got you at it.
So basically my wife was telling me that somewhere in America there's this place some clinic, and you bring cancer patients there, and they feed them only organic food, natural food, and it's proven cancer.
And this is the thing, because Allah, He created this for us, and this is what cures us. But we've corrupted the food, and it's actually the food is now causing us harm.
And cancer is new, actually. It's
Exactly.
not-
This is documentary about
Question only.
I hope you're not a doctor. Are you a doctor?
He's an accountant.
Your doctor probably home. They're like, who are you to speak about our profession?
Doctors.
No, we love the doctors, man. They're good. They support the dawah. They're good guys.
Yes, I would like to know if regarding the organic products, or has he made any statement about the conditions of the products? I mean, like how they have been produced, or if, for example, if they are damaging the environment, or transgenic products. I mean,
there's something should be done about it. But it has to be done, first of all, at an individual level, and then when it spreads, it becomes easier. Like, for example, when I go to certain countries, I get scared. I thought I was like, I'm gonna get hungry, because when you go there to like buy fruits and vegetables, it's very expensive, and to buy, like if we want to buy like the brown rice and the flour we buy, it's very expensive. Like the flour we buy, this spelt flour. If you go to some Gulf countries, it's like 40 riyals a kilo. But in Ireland, it's like maybe 20 riyals, half the price. So once it starts to spread, and people, this is what because consumers, they're the one who
Control the market.
Control the market, exactly. So once we start to, it becomes a movement of people going back to wanting organic, to wanting to healthy food and healthy lifestyle. You're going to find that the consumers are going to, the business owners are going to come and serve the consumers. And then once it becomes more widespread, the prices also go down, because you're not just serving a certain amount of people. And when you come down to these big 5-star hotels, okay, does everybody stay in them? No. Why? Because it's only a certain amount of people, but these certain people they're paying. But if it becomes widespread, all this, and the prices eventually go down for everybody. So the same thing now with the food market, because a lot of people can say that if we want to eat healthy, it's more expensive. I tell them yes, but I say if you look, for example, when I go to the grocery store, one time they were looking at when we were coming out, and the lady, she was like, "Oh, you guys are very healthy. Keep it up, There's like nothing bad in it, It's like fruits, vegetables, all good stuff." So the brother said, but sometimes like the flour we buy for €1, you buy for €4, so it's more expensive. I said, but do I buy the sodas and the drinks that you buy? Do I buy the biscuits and these things?
The beers, even the beer, like
that's for non-Muslims.
Non-Muslims, yeah.
So I said, do I buy these things? No. So here, Sahih, I'm spending more money on quality, but I'm not buying the junk that you're buying. Therefore, I think it's equivalent as well. And then when you eat more food, wallahi, I tell you, since I started eating healthy and working out, the energy I have, Allahu Barak, really completely changed. I very, very rarely feel tired. And they ask me how. I said, no, I'm getting younger, akhi. I tell them, mashallah. I said, because I feel like maybe 10 years younger than I did before. When I was in my beginning of my 40s now, I feel better than I was when I was at the beginning of my 30s.
What about your sleep? Like, are you sleeping less?
Yeah, it depends. Sleep-wise, I sleep less, but and generally I don't sleep a lot anyways. But what I notice, it depends on when I work out, when I do like really heavy lifting, then I sleep very well.
Good quality sleep.
But what I found with the problem when I started, because I had a program when I didn't travel for like 4 months, so I took advantage of it, And I have a little home gym, I'm in the gym every morning, like lifting as hard as I can, So, but when I realized when it comes nighttime and like I travel, I have a lecture, I would get very tired traveling because the body demands its sleep then. The different way you can push the body in a normal time, but now it demands the sleep. So no, because you have to rest. You have to rest. That's part of the recovery when you're working.
What about caffeine?
Yeah, for me, I'm a big fan. Yeah.
I'm a big coffee drinker, and I was telling the brothers that
Actually, I left it in Ramadan to prove that I could do it. In Ramadan, this Ramadan, what I did. Actually, I usually lose weight. Actually, before I went to, I ended up spending half Ramadan in Qatar. It wasn't planned. Like my first half of Ramadan was amazing. I lost like, in the beginning, I lost like 7-8 kilos in just like 15 days. Because what I was doing, I was eating very healthy. I wasn't eating any junk. And we were like 5 hours in Ireland. People say, you can't eat. I've had 3 meals, but 3 small meals. So as soon as we break the fast, we go and pray with the dates and what have you in the water. and then we go and break the fast, I come back, I have a very small meal, maybe like a third of what I would used to eat. And then I have some water. And I drink about 2.5, 3 liters of water during this 5-hour span, so I can stay hydrated. A lot of people get headaches, they don't realize, because you're not having enough water when you're not fasting. So you need to make sure you're hydrated. So I have enough water, and then I come back from Tarawih, I have a small meal, and then before the suhoor, another small meal, maybe just like some oatmeal or something like that, which is something to keep you going. And I would focus on what I would, for the fuel. And then I was working out before the iftar. We fast 19 hours, and like, how do you work out? So you have to do it, no problem. So I just like, the kettlebell is a good full body circuit workout. I was doing a lot of kettlebell workouts, and so I would do that before the iftar. Alhamdulillah, I was feeling amazing, alhamdulillah. Feeling good. So yeah.
The caffeine you
yeah, so I left during Ramadan just because I wanted kind of, I didn't use any supplements. I didn't use any any proteins, just all natural. No caffeine, no nothing for the entire Ramadan. Just to kind of give the body a little bit of a detox, change up. Something I had no problems with this Ramadan. But on normal days, yes, I'm a coffee addict. Even before I work, I like to have a coffee.
When you give up on these junk foods, like for example, the small changes that you make, like instead of white sugar, you take brown sugar. Instead of white bread, you take brown bread. And all these small changes that you bring into your life, the change is not sudden, but over the time, you feel it and you see it in your body.
But so you guys know, that people don't realize sometimes, brown bread is not much better than white bread, by the way. It is better, but it's not much better. But then when you go to some other one, like spelt flour bread, or like even like in Scandinavian countries, I was impressed when I went to the hotel there, they actually eat the rye bread.
I was just going to say
it doesn't taste the best, honestly, because you're not used to it. But it's not all about the taste. What are you putting, the fuel you're putting into your body? That's very good for you.
And you get used to it.
That's it. You get used to it. For me now, if you put a donut in front of me, I used to love donuts, But now if I eat it, it's like, it's sugary. It's like, it tastes nasty to me now. I can't eat it. It's too sugary. So these type of things, like these over the Pakistani balls, I try one, wow, what is that? Like, And I used to love it, The Sudanese tea, they have sugar in their tea, the Sudanese.
You mean sugar with water?
That's it.
Sugar with water.
So sugar with a bit of tea in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I remember I was giving a lecture, and I hadn't drank, they said, "Want a cup of tea?" I was like, sure, I forgot the sugar they put in their tea. I was giving a lecture, and I drank the first one. I was like, wow. I was like, man,
You got high.
Yeah, man, stuff.
You know what, like whenever I mention or talk about sugar, I remember this discussion I had with a brother, or a guy, I should say. There was me and a friend were giving da'wah to a guy who was part of the Nation of Islam. Yeah. Okay? So my friend was giving him da'wah, and we're in Tim Hortons. You know Tim Hortons?
Oh, you've been to Canada, hasn't it? It's
the best.
It's like part of the official visit.
So in Canada, they also have a Nation of Islam?
Yeah, a bit.
So I was telling Sheikh Saeed when I went back, I had a dream. I had a dream of Tim Hortons. I went back from Canada the first time.
They have it in Jeddah, by the way.
Yeah. No, even they have it in Qatar now.
In Medina.
In UAE.
Yeah.
What's this?
The best coffee shop in the world. But anyways,
it's part of being Canadian.
Sponsor me. Anyways, so what happened was we were in this Tim Hortons and we were giving him dawah, and it was getting intense a bit. So I said, "Let me get you something to drink." I said, "Let me get you a donut or something." He's like, "No, I don't do that stuff." I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "It's white." He's like, "The white man took brown sugar, which is the original sugar, and extracted all the good stuff out of it." I was like, "Okay. Let me get you something else." He's like, "Yeah, again, the white man did this and that." And pretty much the whole menu he didn't want because of the white man. So I'm not really quick-witted. I should have asked him, "Do you want milk?" Because what he's going to say, chocolate milk's the original milk and the white man took it.
That coffee is...
A lot of people don't realize a lot of, and you have to be aware of like the diet things and stuff like that. A lot of it is actually worse for you.
Yeah.
For example, Diet Pepsi and these diet drinks, it's actually more harmful to the health than the regular one.
Yeah. Because what they add to
the aspartame. Aspartame is more dangerous than sugar.
Artificial sugar.
But the only person who can benefit from it is the person who has diabetes. That allows him to be able to drink it. Okay, because obviously the high amount of sugar. So the Pepsi or Coke is going to have like this much sugar in it anyways. But that sugar is less dangerous than the aspartame that they put into the diet. And people don't realize it. This is the healthy choice. Actually, it's not.
Which are the pills? Those diet pills?
Yeah.
What is that stuff?
Yeah, that's
I think we are used to even when we ask for natural juice, they add sugar. If you don't say don't add sugar, they add sugar. So we are used to this taste.
There's a juice shop that I go to, Qatar, a very good juice shop. But if you look at the menu, they have a menu like 100 types of drinks. You know? Even the ones that are natural, like you said, all of them have sugar except for one. It's called the diet drink, you know. But it's actually, what do they mean by diet?
Healthy guys.
Yeah, there's no sugar. It's just fruits, and that's how it should be. You know? Then it's like, why would want sugar? It's full of fruits.
Please don't add
Natural
sugar.
sugars.
The taste is total.
I spent a lot of time there.
Do you know Sheikh Rashid Sufi?
I've met him, yes.
You met him, right? MashaAllah. Qadi, MashaAllah.
Excuse me, one thing about what we were talking about, food, but talking in general about consumer products is, I'd like to know if...
Sorry, where's lunch? I'm going to go find lunch.
I thought about it myself.
Talking about food, but there's no food.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to have healthy choices.
Did you see the documentary called The Truth About Cancer?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good. It shows you, it opens up a whole door about all this stuff. Healthy living and it's incredible.
When I gave this talk, sorry, I'll come back to
No
your
problem.
question. I gave this talk to some of the youth in Dublin, and after the pizzas came in, and the brother said, he said things I already ordered the pizzas, He said, should I go get some vegetables, get some tomatoes and some cucumbers or something instead, He said, I already placed the order for the pizza. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
You're saying so.
It's about the consumer products in general, not only food. If have been discussed about the products in general produced in the thing about the working conditions for how these products have been produced in terms of working conditions, salaries and this thing, because I think it's a growing concern, not in the West and in general in other countries, about the working conditions, salaries, and so on. Because it's also a matter that is affecting the economies, local economies, because some business or productions are not locally are not sustainable because of the competence from countries that they have much lower conditions, and even there they don't know. It's not clear what is the minimum salary or how many hours they work, and
child labor is
the free trade agreement.
So, that's starting to get more popular now, which is good to give people their rights as well. It's a good thing. Well, something interesting, Tom, the working conditions. You reminded me of something. One of the brothers I know, he visited the most famous sugar factory in Sudan. And all sugar factories are the same, how the sugar is made, obviously. This is the very high-class one there. And he said, that when he was seeing how it was done, and he said that when he came to, they have a place where they make brown sugar, and then you go into other place where they make the white sugar.
They got full suits on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he said the brown sugar, he said, was normal inside. Yeah. He said when you go inside to where the brown, even though that's not the healthiest choice, it's still in the middle. It's a little better than the white one, anyways. But when you go into the white sugar, you have to have like full suits on. You have to cover your mouth. And he said the smell inside where the white sugar is. He said if you were to smell it, you wouldn't want sugar ever again. He said it's like smell like just dead animals that have been rotten and sitting there in the sun for a long time.
Amazing.
He said you've seen that yourself, huh?
Yeah.
He said really stinks. It's horrible, So he said this is the people are putting into their bodies.
It's difficult to tell and to know exactly because there's no. I think this is depending on the consumers. If the consumers ask, I would like to know.
People want to make money.
Need more information. Yeah, it's a matter of.
Even now, I thought if I were to open a restaurant, and then I want to make money, don't I? I'm probably gonna, go sell, short bun, things like that people want to buy.
But actually, people they want the clean stuff today. Actually,
it depends on where you are. It starts to spread
on the locale.
Yeah, but if in some countries until it kind of, especially like in the Muslim countries, and it has to be something maybe that it's more difficult to start. In the West, I think we have more of an awareness about the importance of exercise and healthy eating. Like for example, these juice bars now, they're popping up everywhere. And we go and have a juice for like, €5, €5.50. It's not cheap, man, for a drink. But you'll find there's their lines in the business, and people are making money because people are realizing the importance of these things in their lives.
In this part of the world, it's almost like impossible to run a business on that.
Yeah, I would forget about
there are restaurants now that are popping up, and actually,
for a high-scale investor, it would be easier. But if you just if you're on the low end and you want to try to do something,
I saw something. It was a healthy restaurant in in London. I was there with my family. We were there for the conference, and it was like, for health food and things like that. And the slogan under it said, "Eat clean, train dirty." I got a picture. I said, "That's awesome." Because they don't want to eat dirty. Because people don't. You eat whatever you want, and they just train hard. But it's not like that, because the fuel is the body.
Now also these diet centers, they're becoming quite famous as well. I mean, a lot of people are trying to approach it. Like take monthly, where they deliver food to your house. And you take a monthly basis.
I think the word diet is a bad word.
I know. It's one letter away from die.
It's a 4-letter word you should stay away from. Because honestly, all people fail on diets. Because sometimes it's too strict, and sometimes it's like for example, when I'm in my house, I'm very strict. Even when I go out, like I'll choose what I want on the plate. But every now, if I want to have something, I have it. Like for example, when I'm in Ireland, there's no like really good halal burger shops. So I don't go. It's not worth it.
Right.
When I go to a Muslim country that has like proper gourmet, halal burgers, or even the UK, for example, I make sure the nafs, because when you want something like that, and then you forbid yourself, that people fall off the wagon later.
You will.
And it comes back even worse sometimes. Some of them gain more weight. But if you start just to exercise and to eat healthy, and then every now and then, if you want like a certain sweet, a certain cake, like the other day at Eid, man, alhamdulillah, I'm on Hajj, they brought us a nice cake. So it's Eid,
but it needs a lot of discipline.
Alhamdulillah.
It needs a lot of discipline, isn't it? Like you really need to train your body, because if we are used to eating a certain amount of food on daily basis, and you want to actually control your body, then you need to actually decrease it to a specific amount. And that you need your body to adapt to it.
When you look in the Sunnah, the issue of the amount, it's amazing how all the professional trainers and they're all talking about the issue of 3 meals a day is actually a mistake. They say we should have like 5 small meals. And if you look at the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, when he talked about just having that which enough to suffice you. For your body.
Couple bites.
And then even a couple bites, and then having like, eating small portions with the 3 fingers as well. All this shows, and only filling up a third. So we have the same thing in the Sunnah. We just need to benefit from it. Not filling up your stomach, not overeating. We have all of that. And most of the diseases people have today is from overeating and eating unhealthy, subhanAllah.
Sheikh, I have a issue because I eat very little. It's changed a bit since I've come to Saudi.
With the restaurant that you guys have across the street.
I'm hoping that's what they're going to bring now.
But
me too, because I haven't had it since then.
Being invited to dinner or some kind of meal, traditional Arab or other Muslim communities have the custom of feeding their guests lots and lots of food.
Force feeding their guests.
Yes, force feeding. So I come from a background of you take what you can eat and you finish what's on the plate. And I come in fresh to this new kind of culture, and I get invited to, mashallah, very nice food. But the quantity is just maybe about 4 times what I can manage to eat. And I start eating and start suggesting to the host, I'm not really able to eat this amount, and
especially the rice.
And so they would say, don't worry, try. So I'll say, I'll try and eat what I can. And then when I reach my maximum, I say, okay, I've tried now. Try more. So I found myself falling into the trap of...
It's customary,
yes.
To, like you said, to make sure that you give ikram to take care of your guest.
Yes.
That's making sure that he eats well. So that's where it comes from. But they don't realize a lot of times that they're actually going against the Sunnah and doing this. Another common mistake people make now is they say, yes, I have to finish what's on the plate, bro. It's the Sunnah to eat everything. Right. Yeah, but it's also the Sunnah not to fill over there a third, isn't it? Right. So if you're filling up your stomach, 80% or more than 2/3, so you can finish what's on the plate, they say, no, this is not the Sunnah.
You can barely breathe.
And subhanAllah, once again, it goes back to what the brother said about discipline. So even for me now, what I do, I'm very disciplined now when I go to people's house. I used to, I got so big, people kept feeding me, and like you're shy, right? I said, no. I said, that's all I'm going to eat. I'm not going to eat anything else. Sometimes, I'll go, I don't want like the white rice sometimes. I'll take some meat and stuff. Like, no, you have to have the rice. So I'm like, no, I don't actually. I actually have the will to do what I want to do. So I don't pay for inviting me and I'll reward you. But so I don't want the rice,
I'm gonna make a
You're going to go to the lunch, man. With the food there. You're making a break for it. Come on, bro.
Yeah, all this talk of food.
Let's see what healthy food we have on the
Well,
table.
yeah, I don't know if they pay attention to it.
This is a signal. We are
Anyway,
talking
I
about
think,
food
after
because
being so hungry, we have no choice but to eat.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله Pray first, huh?
Pray first?
Looking?
I want to eat first.
Tell me, pray like 5 minutes. Pray.
Whenever the benefit comes to us. Now, the non-Muslims have progressed in the field of healthy lifestyle and exercise. And I'll give you an example of something amazing that I learned from a Muslim doctor in Ireland. In orthopedics or so they and they were looking into the issue of the bones and what have you, and they were waiting for. They said that in the 2000s, they said there's going to be a serious epidemic in the ones who are in the age of 60s and having like different bone disease, and it's going to be a big problem in Ireland and what have you. But what they noticed is that when they got into the 2000s, and the 2010 and above and what have you, that they weren't getting cases of people in their 60s. It was coming in the 70s and the 80s even, where people were having weakness and problem with their bones. So they researched what happened. Why they were supposed to come to us 10, 15, 20 years ago, but they didn't come. Why? And I'm talking about the age groups.
Right.
They said because it's become a phenomenon now where people get out and they exercise. You'll find that they walk. And I really envy that in a good way. I come to the masjid and I say, look, we go to the masjid early for Fajr, man, and they're out there getting it. Sometimes it's raining, bro. They're out there jogging, they're out there walking, they got their, their rain gear on. Yeah. They go out and get it every day, And the Muslims, yeah, we see some Muslims who are walking around the neighborhood. Who are the Muslims walking around the neighborhood? The one who doctor told them, if you don't do it, you're going to die. Or the disease is going to take over your body and you're going to then eventually die. You're going to be in big health problems.
Food is ready. At the same time, Salah just came in, even though the Sunnah.
We have a hadith, bro.
Yeah, the Sunnah is to eat first.
I'll tell you an amazing story for this, just real quick.
Okay.
He's now one of the du'as, one of the famous sheikhs. He said when he first started to practice from America, he went to Egypt. And he said he met with all these practicing Egyptian brothers, some big beards and this. And he said they put the food down at the time of the Salat al-Isha. Yeah. And he said everybody's eating and laughing, and the adhan had been called, and then they started praying. So the microphone was like right next to the window of the flat. So you could hear the inside, and they're laughing and eating. And he said, I'm looking at them like, these munafiqs, He's like, they have the beards and they're eating. And he said, I learned like a few months later, as he's practicing more, that if Isha and Asha comes, if dinner and the Salah come, then you have your meal first.
Yeah.
So they're actually implementing the Sunnah, but he didn't realize that this is the Sunnah, He's like, astaghfirullah. So we're 100% Sunnah, you don't have to ask us.
But Sheikh Abdullah,
we were sitting there talking about food for like a half an hour, man. Come on,
we can pray right now. Two rak'ahs.
It's on the table, man.
Food's on the table.
Khalas, Sheikh, the food's on.
It's been prepared.
I'm just a messenger.
Sunnah.
Hadith, man.
Hadith is the priority.
I'm just
And we're going to walk past it and look at it and then go and pray. It makes it even worse, you know.
I tried.
So are we going now?
Yeah. Bismillah.
I mean, are we going to be feeling, praying, and thinking of the food behind us on the table?
That's from the wisdom. That's why if you have the food in front of you, you're supposed to eat first.
Do you guys want spoons, or you guys can eat with your hands? Hands or spoon?
No, spoon.
Spoon? You keep it Irish, right? McCain?
Hands.
All right, let me go try fighting some spoons.
Something interesting that Sheikh Al-Albani mentioned, rahimahullah. He said that a lot of the times, the spoon might actually be closer to the